They're all very different players.
Yeah.
Very different personalities as well.
What do you think, you know, having experienced coaching some of these players are like some of the standout players? Obviously, Inspired ones that we talk about a lot on the broadcast, but outside of Inspired, who do you think is going to have to step up on Dignitas' side to make this a close series?
So in my opinion, FBI and Ignar will need a duo step up in this series. Okay. I feel like Dignitas functions the best when these two have a winning lane, when they're ahead in the game and they can really dictate things. I think FBI is still a world-class player, but it's getting that team there and over the early game. I think if you go back to our series last week, Shopify against Dignitas, I think XU made a lot of mistakes in the early game. So it really hurt the chances that their bot lane had of carrying. So that's what I'm really watching out for.
Yeah, you say bot lane has the pressure on them, and I'm getting flashbacks. FBI and Ignar did not have a good time, specifically in Game 2 against you guys. So hopefully they're able to turn things around, and yes, XU impacting that as well. Let's catch up on some of the bans here so far. Is it Seraphine, Karma, J4 taking off on LYON's side, Dignitas banning Varus, Pantheon, and LeBlanc, and first picking Orianna for Palafox.
Interesting that they banned LeBlanc to set up the Orianna, but that might be a bit of a response. I saw a ton of LeBlanc in LEC recently.
Usually it's a ban for Azir first pick.
Yeah.
So this is a little interesting because I think Orianna is completely fine in that matchup, but maybe they expected LYON to also ban Orianna and they just prioritized that over Azir.
And now we have, this is an Inspired special. If it's a control mage mirror, he takes the Nocturne and then just ganks the other control mage the whole time. So with obviously the LeBlanc ban there, I kind of expect Saint to play Azir, but I've seen Ryze pretty frequently as an Orianna answer as well. What would you think that Saint's going to go for? It's Azir.
Yep, Azir. I mean, you kind of have to take away the Nocturne from the Orianna side once this trade starts going down. I think most teams consider it a little bit too powerful, the combo of Nocturne ult and Orianna ult. So this makes a lot of sense so far.
Yeah, and plus Azir, I mean, it still has a lot of engaged potential. The Nocturne can go in. Azir has some ability to follow that up as well onto the Orianna, or even set it up with the shuffle. So the Xin Zhao is going to be locked in for XU to help keep your mid laner safe, and also harder to ult onto that guy as the Nocturne. Going to pair that with the Rumble. So double AP solo laners for Dignitas.
Yep, and we'll probably get a Ornn or a Cassante in the top lane here, maybe a Sion. I think these matchups are very common, works well with the Azir, and you can always neutralize the Rumble. So.
Which one? Flip a coin.
I'm going to say it's Ornn.
Yeah?
Yeah.
More engaged?
What about the sneaky Galio could slide in there? Maybe too many globals. Cassante for Dokla.
Oh,
He's back in his Rumble Cassante roots.
Yeah, they're all the same champs.
Yeah. I was looking at LCK draft last night, and I saw it working its way into LCS a little bit. Jace was actually the most picked top laner in LCK, which made me no surprise that Morgan wanted to play it. But then Rumble's been banned in all but one game of LCK so far in spring, so I'm a little surprised that it actually even got through draft, and then after getting through draft, fell this far here.
Yeah, I mean, Rumble's strength is super high. I feel like the champion it can play weak side, it can play strong side, it can clear waves from so far away. It's just, yeah, I mean, I'm always surprised when this champion priority goes down.
Yeah, and it's one of those champions, when I think of Photon as a player, Dignitas and how they've looked so far, when Photon has a lot of agency, I think that the team looks much better. When he can do things on his own, that's where things like the Gwen, like the Kled last year, I was like excited to see a player come in with that type of champ pool. When I think of Rumble, I think you do need to kind of synergize with your team a little more. Like, you can't do as much isolated. It is about these big team fight ultimates, and I haven't quite seen Dignitas have that level of coordination so far this year. So hopefully things work out a little better, because this is a draft that requires coordination. You have combos, things like the Orianna enabling the Xin Zhao, things like Rumble team fight as well.
I mean, Kang, it's at the end of the day, they didn't have their full roster for the first week of lock-in.
Yep.
Then FBI just gotten off the play in the second week of lock-in.
Sure.
Third week of lock-in, they actually win, lose a tiebreaker closely, and that's all we've seen them. And then we saw the one series against Shopify in spring, where I will say, I need to get your opinion on this, Demonte. Dignitas seemed super last place in that, since it was kind of a battle of the bottoms. But they lost by a lot. But I wonder, was that more you guys kind of finding some things, or was it Dignitas playing well under their level, do you think?
You know, I think the Shopify game, both of them, honestly, it's a reflection of the meta in a lot of ways, because I feel like the bot lane mages, it makes everything very volatile. And if the jungler messes up his early game pathing and the bot lane gets left on an island, so let's say one jungler paths down, another jungler is pathing up, and the team pathing down can figure that out, it's almost easy to 3v2 dive and go 1-for-1 on an AD carry.
Right.
And this will instantly, even though you go 1-for-1, the bot laner is going to lose a whole wave, and it snowballs real quick with the mage matchups.
Yeah, and that we did see that happen in your match against Dignitas just last week, as it's going to be Yanara locked in for LYON, so Berserker gets his hyper carry, and FBI will lock in the Corki. Expecting something like a Nami to go along with this. Those are the kind of popular pairings.
Corki, Nami, Yunara, Lulu.
Yeah. I love these bot lane combos. I feel like the meta right now is just like, it's not this, you know, creative combine these different things together. It's always these 2v2 pairs put together. The Ezreal Karma, Corki, Nami. So, Iria, what do we think, Demonte? Who are we favoring in draft?
I want to say it's a 50-50 draft. I feel like it's very standard on both sides. Both teams want a team fight. I would give Dignitas maybe a tiny edge in the early game with the Rumble, and I think Nocturne's a little bit slow compared to Xin Zhao, but very, very even.
It seems like just a draft full of handshakes.
Yeah.
They handshake the Orianna to give over the Azir, but because they picked the Orianna, they get the Nocturne, and then because they prioritize the Azir early, they can get the Rumble afterwards, and then they didn't even ban out that many. Like, the fact that 2 bot lane pairs were left at the end, like, no one was trying to snipe the Enchantress supports. I'm a little surprised about that in Phase 2 of bans with, you know, Bar, Nico, Caitlyn, Jhin, that, especially with Karma, Seraphine banned as, like, the 4 Enchanters, that one team didn't just ban one of the Enchanters to pinch, so it was just a huge handshake draft.
Yeah, we will have to watch bot lane a lot this game. One of the win conditions for Yunara Lulu is to all in, whereas Corki Nami can just more naturally push. And I would say Dignitas kind of has 3 pushing lanes this game, so I'm looking forward to see what XU can make out of this.
Eyes on bot lane, eyes on jungle for Dignitas, and how he wants to play around it, as it's the rematch of Dignitas versus LYON. Last split, it was not the full-strength Dignitas. It was not their full roster together. And now they get to show how much they've improved since the last time they faced off against the #1 team from last split.
So, Demonte, what do you feel like is the focus here in the early game? We see a lot of early game posturing for wards often, like Inspired getting that ward. How important is that, do you think, to his game?
It's extremely important. I think there's a lot of level 1 jungle strategies right now that involve running into the enemy jungle before you even get level 3. So I think, Inspired is doing it as we speak. So jungle gets real crazy real quick in the early game, and you're going to see Inspired will likely do his topside camps and then try to cross back over around 2 minutes 30. Yeah,
this should be understood from XU, so now he can hopefully go for his own counter. But also interesting to see XU pathing top again anyway. When you're talking about how important bot lane is going to be, I would immediately think that means the top to bot pathing. XU will be down there, but not right now.
You need to watch out for what he does after blue buff here, though, because we could end up in a split map position depending on how these lanes go. Yeah, he's going to run straight into the red side here.
Yeah, and he will get spotted by that ward on the bot side. So Inspired knows he's entered, but now they've lost vision of him. Man, jungling is so crazy. I feel like this started happening way more at first stand because we went through a lock-in of mostly kind of full clearing playing around bot, and now it seems like almost every game Inspired is trying to make something funny happen.
Yeah, and Inspired is so good at this type of League of Legends. When it isn't just the full clear from both sides, it gets a little funky. I feel like he's so much better at just freestyling in these jungle positions. And XU's not going to go for the buff steal. He's just going to take the Krugs and head towards his own jungle again.
I think what we'll watch out for now is bot priority, because there's a world where Inspired can run into the Wolf or Gromp area after this, but you know, he's checking his Gromp, seeing what's going on, so he might be running out of time here.
I mean, it's a situation where both junglers are just heavily delayed because Inspired has spent the majority of the game pathing, and so has XU. Like, look at the path so far. It's been Raptors into blue, into check your bot side, and then Xin has done blue into Krugs into back to Gromp. That's incredibly inefficient from a full clear perspective.
Yeah, they're just really trying to make sure they don't make a big blunder, I would say, in the jungle and fall behind too many camps. So that's why they spend so much time looking around.
And again, Inspired will be spotted on this red buff, so XU now knows where he is. And to your point earlier about kind of expecting Dignitas to have shove in their lanes, right now their bot lane is shoved in. Top lane has also had prio for Dokla, so XU has been playing with the top and the bottom of the map not to his advantage. Palafox now could have some parties happening here. Inspired's coming around. Flash is available on the Orianna. He's got XU behind him. Saints just getting some autos in, and now they turn the play back out of Saint. Flash up from the Azir early as Inspired now in a 1v2. Saints trying to get some damage onto Palafox. Does have the soldiers, but nobody goes down on either side.
Yeah, nothing really happening here, but I will say XU is getting a bit better of Inspired in this early game. He definitely is up-tempo, and he could even get 2 crabs here.
Yeah. I completely agree. Winning that little skirmish, mainly because Saint had to flash out early once XU was in that bush. I am a little... interested in Inspired choosing to cross there with his mid not having prio. I know that he did have top push, but that's so far away from the fight, and it definitely delays him a little bit, but it does mean that he's still going to be able to go bot side and clear his camps. Like, in some instances, when you lose the crab, you have nothing left to farm, but I feel like because the early game was so inefficient, so to speak, even after losing that, he still gets to full clear, reset, and then his Krugs will be up. So I think Inspired won't be hurt too much, even if he gets double crabbed.
Something to watch out for here, if you guys notice, the bot crab is still up.
Yeah.
A lot of junglers have been doing this intentionally lately to avoid the 5-minute 30 scuttle respawn. So if they think their team is a bit weaker around this level 5, level 6 timer, they will leave the second scuttle crab up and try and take it later, so that way the 5-minute 30 classic scuttle crab fight usually happens around maybe 7 minutes or 6 minutes 30.
Interesting, and it's going to be very delayed because XU went for his full top clear after that. He didn't go for the double scuttle. He's opting more for an efficient clear here, as Inspired will be down a camp right now. And if he doesn't read that that bottom scuttle was not taken, he's just going to go back to his Raptors, and that's what he's doing currently.
In this game, who do you feel like that would be better for to avoid the level 6 flip?
I think it's better for LYON, and I think Inspired is doing it very intentionally.
Yeah, if you're able to get to level 6 on Nocturne earlier, you're not going to be contesting that Xin Zhao for that earlier scuttle, as XU will head down towards that bottom scuttle crab and eventually take it. So yes, it is a delayed second scuttle take, and Inspired is just going to keep pathing himself. He doesn't have a lot to take on the Rift right now, though. It's a 2v2 in the bot lane. Polymorph goes out onto FBI. We'll get his barrier, and just a health bar trade in favor of LYON's bot lane.
Really slow early game so far, mostly about the jungle posturing, but to your point with Dignitas having a lot of pushing lanes, the Saint doesn't even get the flash there, actually, so that's going to hurt that lane.
Yeah, I imagine, unless it's like a visual bug, but it looks like Palafox flash is still up, and Inspired is here. He has nothing to clear currently, so he could look for a gank. He's going to wait for the minions to path away. Now Palafox is going to realize that he is not alone in this 1v1. But with his flash available, really no chance of Inspired threatening a kill there. Palafox will even get the wave back in.
Yeah, I think Dignitas are playing to their win conditions, I said in the champion select here. I feel like XU's pathing very well. Bot lane's doing pretty 50-50 so far, so great first 6 minutes out of them. I'm
going to double down. I'm going to say XU's pathing fantastic. Like, he is 3 camps up over Inspired, the MVP of all of last year. And Jad, I know that we kind of made a joke, or I made a joke earlier in the week of like, you know, Inspired versus XU is an interesting matchup because I feel like Inspired's never going to know what XU's planning, because like Inspired likes to read enemy junglers and get in their heads, and like the Griffin matchups and stuff. Is another 2v2 bot side, actually. FBI's got a Valkyrie away. Heal used from Isles. Just
keep going with your flame.
But the talk about the jungle is that I feel like XU's the guy. He's like the perfect jungler to send in against Inspired, because how's Inspired going to know what XU's doing?
I can't tell if like that's a good thing or a bad thing of what you're saying right now.
No, I think it's massive flame, because the whole thing was Inspired always said he did so well against Griffin and Kryra because, oh, they try to play like me, right? He would say that. But XU definitely doesn't try and play like Inspired, is what he's saying.
Yeah.
But the assumption is Inspired is the best. So
well,
you're
there's two sides to the
insinuating
pendulum.
that XU is bad.
Well, okay, but sometimes you just need to have a wild card, Jad.
Okay.
Sometimes you got to predict the team to go undefeated for the rest of the split.
True.
Sometimes you got to live a little, Josh. All right, Dragon Shard up by XU right now as he's level 6. Inspired yet to hit it, so no contest. Dignitas' jungler will continue to win the early game jungle matchup.
Yeah, I think this is they're getting the reward of the early game right here is this first Dragon. I think XU's having a great first part of the game.
Yeah, I completely agree. He's going to be able to move up to Sundered Sky pretty quick. Ocean Drake being the first Drake as well can help Dignitas continue to play these lanes aggressively. So it's hard to call a Nocturne team out when they're 200 gold down by the time Nocturne hits level 6. So Inspired is definitely going to look to attack, but I'd say this mid lane is going poorly.
Saint has no flash from the earlier play, but he's not actually punished. Actually didn't want to pull the trigger.
Yeah, but so much of what Nocturne wants to do is punish people without flash. And in an ideal world, the lanes are able to burn flashes organically. You hate to use your first Nocturne ult to get the flash, because then your second Nocturne ult is the one that's going to have payoff later. So that's why Palafox not burning flash in any of those early skirmishes is really huge for Dignitas to maintain this lead in the game.
Yeah, we didn't get a replay of what happened when Saint went for the Emperor's Divide earlier, but him not being able to hit it, definitely not ideal, as now XU's invading Inspired here. His bot lane had a bit of a timer to roam up and back him up, so Ignar makes sure that he can get the red buff, and Inspired is pinging the grubs. Actually, no, that is Dignitas pinging the Inspired's probably on those grubs.
Yep, XU stole their red buff, so now he's pinging his own camps. Don't let this guy come and get these. I'm so far ahead, and Inspired just going to look to snag the free grubs because they knew that the Xin Zhao was on his red buff.
Yeah, I mean, that bot lane is also lit up like a Christmas tree. So many wards from Dignitas. There's nothing to take down there anymore. So XU should know exactly where Inspired is on the top half of the map right now. And because it's not on the Raptors. And there we go. Void Grubs gives it away.
I will say that taking the red buff there, I think is a little bit greedy from XU. I feel like they could look for a fight around this Grubs here, and just letting Inspired get all 3 of them there. He's kind of back to being even XP. I think he might even be a little bit ahead.
And also Inspired hasn't purchased in a while, so if XU had gone for the contest, would have had the stat advantage as well on top of it.
Yeah, might be going for a return bot lane invade, though. They already have 2 control wards set up after this Grumpet, expecting to path bottom.
Good look at the Krugs as Berserker pops the ultimate. FBI trading damage back. Aqua Prison will not land, but Berserker's not going to go for much more there. Paranoia is not in range yet for Inspired, but he is heading towards that bottom side. XU's already here on the control ward.
Almost like he's trying to counter gank a Nocturne ultimate.
Yeah.
And isn't willing to go in himself.
As now he's looking at Saint, so Lions see the jungler in the bottom river. Inspired will now know that XU's towards his Raptors as he's just taking away the Krugs. So Photon's trying to get this top wave in as let's see if XU can actually take these. That's a back and a TP in from Palafox, backing up XU. I love this from Dignitas, backing up their young jungler to make sure that he can pull off these invades.
So, Tanner, feel free to have no comment here, but you coach so many of these players.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of discussion before the year and even after First Stand of like how Inspired and Saint and the big personalities are going to be able to interact with each other. Especially with Palafox doing so well in this game. Like, how would a team with Inspired and Palafox work?
Ooh.
I would pay to see that. Honestly, I would love that. I think they would have some great discussions, honestly.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I imagine.
It would be very spicy. It would be pretty fun to watch.
I'd love to sit in on those.
I mean, they're both very blunt people, so maybe they would get along well. Like when I was working with Inspired and Whippo, they had a lot of mutual respect for each other because they would just tell each other exactly how it is.
Yeah.
And, you know, I could see it being a nice little combo.
You know, as long as players are honest with each other. Yeah. As right there is Inspired going for an invade onto the Krugs and a lane swap as Berserker and Isles headed top side. Now answered by Dignitas, but then they're going to go for a reset here. It's just ignore the headed up. It's actually FBI still in this bottom lane, so he'll still be getting that bot lane experience towards the little mini game of the boots.
And we missed the whole Rumble versus Cassante laning phase, but I feel like now that he's gone to Kanik, especially up against the Orianna, Dokla's really in a fine spot in this lane. And that was a really interesting swap to me that it happened so quickly before role quest completion. But I do feel like that swap has really flipped the tempo where it feels like LYON is the one dictating right now.
Yeah, they got bot priority, and they choose to swap into topside, where Rumble is a squishier champion than Cassante, so I think generally that's always going to be a nice little play if you can get bot priority. And interesting thing, I think more teams are starting to experiment with this, is you kind of ignore the quests a little bit, and you'll swap for maybe 1 to 2 waves from bot lane if you have tempo. And I think you'll start seeing this a lot more, especially in tank versus carry matchups.
Yeah, and I feel like no matter how much you swap around, you're going to get the quest eventually anyway. So it hurts a tiny little bit in the short term, maybe with your power spikes, but ultimately, in the grand scheme of the game, you can often gain more from trading than delaying your quest, which is fun.
And as of right now, it's actually Berserker with a slight gold lead after going for that lane swap. Dragon's coming up in 15 seconds as XU is just going to take another rotation here of the Raptors. Saint's going to walk up and witness that happening. Can't stop it, though, as Dragon in 5 seconds. Let's see if either of these teams want to pull the trigger right away. Inspired still hasn't used a Paranoia. He has the completed Hexplate now, so he's got that first item power spike to match XU's. So the kind of early game weakness of Nocturne was never fully exploited here, as he's only down a couple of camps.
Okay, Demonte, who do you want to see stepping up at this Dragon right now?
I think LYON is much stronger. They have a full item completed on their AD carry, where FBI doesn't have one at all. So this is really the early game that I would say Inspired is playing for, waiting for this first item. Corki's Triforce is more expensive than the Kraken on Yunara, so I wouldn't be surprised if Dignitas just dropped this, and I think that would be the better decision.
Even Palafox didn't have a first item completed. Saint had the Gnasher's Tooth, so LYON with the priority in mid and bot side will take the second Drake, deny the stacking from Dignitas, and pick up their first of the game.
Maybe Inspired and Palafox are on the same page, right? Like Inspired knows he's stronger, so he takes Drake, and Palafox like, we don't have our items yet. We need to wait, give this Dragon away. It's not this mindless fighting that these other teams do.
I'm loving this like alternate universe that Jad's building up here. Like, just what if?
They're the 2 most successful international NA players of the last 3 years. They should team up.
The genius jungle fielder and the genius midfielder coming together.
Now I'm thinking of other combinations, like Palafox and Canyon. You know, just what happens. Yeah.
You're going international.
Yeah, you know. And I'm assuming, of course, Palafox is going to LCK.
Yeah, Palafox, traditionally clutch, Canyon not so.
Yeah.
So he can bring him up a level. And
They even out.
It'll be amazing.
They even out. They make each other better. You know, it's about, you know, synergy. Well, currently, though, it is still a slow early game here. We're approaching the 14-minute mark with no kills on either side. And nice from Photon there, not stopping the back as Dokla walked up.
This is another reason I didn't want to put any LYON players on my fantasy team this week. Because even if they win, it's going to be this slow, plodding game state.
Yeah, you had mentioned that. Because we had a conversation of, like, what are the obvious, you know, one-sided matchup? Theoretically, LYON, everyone's going to say, is going to 2-0 Dignitas. But yeah, Jet, that's an interesting point. That doesn't mean that they get a lot of fantasy points.
Definitely not. And Demonte, I want your opinion on this too. LYON did lose their game last week, and throughout a lot of lock-in, there's an invade. They might fight finally.
XU's going for another Raptor as Inspired pops a Paranoia. Tidal Wave will land, and it's just a disengage from both sides.
Ult for Flash and Nami Wave seems like a fair trade.
Man, it's a good play out of Dignitas. I think XU should just stick to his guns a little bit more.
Yeah,
that
just
Flash
stay in.
was very, very defensive.
Yeah, had the Crescent Guard available. Could have just traded ults. But, end of the day, he's able to walk away, and still a slower paced game here.
Where do you see the scaling going here, Demonte, in this matchup?
I would probably give it to LYON. I think Azir generally is always one of these champions that can win any game once it's past 25 minutes. Also, the Baron threat that you have on this champion is massive. And Yunara Lulu, I would say, scales just better than Corki Nami.
Yeah, also the fact that they have a dedicated front line. Like, Dokla will be able to tank up and soak up a lot of damage. Dignitas, I mean, they got the Crescent Guard on the Xin Zhao, but that's about it. So I'll always favor in late game team fights the team that has the tank. And you'd also mentioned, Demonte, that like Dignitas, one of their win conditions is going to be through bot lane here. How do you feel that like the bot lane is gone? Is this to your expectations? Because I feel like we haven't actually seen XU play towards them very much.
So I would say this is not really towards my expectations. I would say a lot of this kind of shows how LYON is just a better team. We talked about the swap that they did earlier, and then they finished their first item first. They secured the second dragon. It feels like LYON's bot lane is really playing around their power spikes well.
Yeah, a lot of times winning isn't necessarily flashy solo kills or giant team fights, but even when things aren't going well, because I'd say like the mid lane 2v2 early on in the game went poorly, Saint not being able to get Palafox's flash, another thing that went poorly, but then they're still trying to find all these small things within the game to at least make sure the Drakes are equal and at least be in a
That's one of the most fun parts about League is you don't getting wave priority is you playing well. You don't need to be killing the enemies to like get an advantage. If you get priority in your base first, you got tempo, you can get on the map on the next round.
That is the most coach answer I've ever heard. His Paranoia's popped, Flash to follow, and he spell shields the Shockwave. Inspired committing for first blood and doesn't even trade his life. Will eventually fall now in the mid lane. Berserker goes down to FBI and Ignar in the 2v2, so Dignitas actually trading up in kills.
I mean, that's what Inspired always wants to do. He always wants to gank the control mage side. Very close. It actually does trade the kill over onto Inspired, and they get the kill onto Berserker, so they'll lose gold to Azir because he's free hitting the turret, but I think that's still a positive play for Dig.
Yeah, I think Berserker got a little bit too saucy there. He was trying to flash predict or W predict the FBI flash, so man, this was really close.
Taking a look at exactly what happened. Yeah, Berserker kind of gets hit by everything.
Oh, see the flash there?
I did.
Yeah. I guess.
But he still didn't have the damage. I agree with you.
Yeah, if he angles it differently, I could also imagine he's trying to dodge like the rockets or the phosphorus bombs, but either way, the damage comes through and FBI picks up a kill. So first turret picked up by Saint in that bottom lane. Answered as the more kills went over to Dignitas. So still a very even gold game.
But also another Raptor camp stolen by XU. 152 to 120 in the jungle CS.
I'm telling you, Inspired does not know what XU is going to do next. Is he going to hop in here? Is he going to take the... No.
Palafox is, obviously.
Yeah. And it's going to charge in. Looks like Dignitas want to take their first turret of the game, but don't have quite enough damage off of just that. FBI will walk up and does not get the auto on the turret, actually. So looks like
losing a lot of minion waves on bot lane right now.
Yeah. Photon a little late to be able to cover that wave. Do you think there's any level of being able to get inside Inspire's head? I know some junglers get really emotional around getting their camp stolen. Is there any level of that, do you think, that could happen with LYON?
I think the way to get inside of Inspired's head.
I think we have a fight happening right here. The Paranoia straight in onto the back line. Shockwave only lands onto one as Crescent Guard's trying to keep XU alive. Palafox the first kill, answered back as Dokla flies right in onto the Orianna. But Dignitas are winning the health bar trade in the tail end of the 4v4. Flash for it from Photon. They want to continue the chase onto Dokla. The Harpoon will land, and he's roasting down Cassante. Photon will find a second kill for Dignitas.
Big fight there for Dig. Inspired and Palafox go down right at the start, but then when Rumble arrives and Corki does damage at the end, they'll win the fight and take the Drake afterwards.
Man, Dignitas is doing it. Playing pretty good here.
By a ton of time with the stopwatch for Palafox. Yes, he falls, but Inspired is down as well. And then with that equalizer, it pushes Saint and Berserker completely outside of the fight, so it gives them time to free hit Dokla. And then they'll have the confidence, not only can they chase in this 3v2, but XU gets to start up the Drake, so it's an efficient end to the fight as well. Okay.
Not bad. Dignitas, I mean, and that was another instance. Both teams were jockeying for that line brush, but the fact that Inspired used the Paranoia and they try and fly in to get onto, I believe that was Palafox that they full sent it on, but he's got the stasis and he's able to survive long enough that the rest of Dignitas can punish. And now 2 dragons plus a 2K gold lead. The first time we've seen a substantial gold lead, I'll call it, in this game.
And what's interesting about this is it did feel like it was going to be super one-sided. It felt like it was going to be super one-sided last time, but if we remember back to that game they had in lock-in, Photon's Kennen actually had a bunch of massive flanks. He had a really strong game, made this really close, and this was with a sub-bot lane. So something that worked aside from the Kennen and these great team fights was Palafox XU actually had a pretty good game against Inspired, Saint as well. And a lot of that we kind of chalked up to maybe luck or early season success, but now Dignitas kind of running it back and does seem to play Lion pretty well on stage.
Yeah, they're not faltering at all to the Nocturne, and it's really nice to see. They found a full 5v5 without Nocturne picking anyone off, so credit to them.
Yeah. And man, some of these replays, you can just see the impact that Photon was able to have. And again, I love him on these champions that can find these types of moments. Rumble's more so just pure damage. You know, you're not going to be going for this big engage, but still he's playing it well in these fights, flashing to follow up on Dokla there and make sure he picks up another kill. And Photon, his story's been fun to follow, you know, joining Dig very late last year when they were making some like summer last-minute roster changes, sticking around for this year, and has had a great start to his 2026.
He really has, and I mean, after that team fight, when Dignitas is trying to accelerate the game a little bit, there's always these small windows after team fights where you don't have to be as fearful of the Nocturne ultimates, but now at this point, you can see Palafox in the top lane there has the Xin kind of in his back pocket. That's the only way he's going to be able to push that side lane safe, and they go mid instead.
Paranoia here onto Ignar, flash
nice.
And heal used, so 2 summoner spells burned, Inspired with a high-value ult.
I think just watch what Rumble's doing here. He's coming mid to help defend the play. I think it's just a little bit too slow, though. This is where I would say, once again, you can still tell that LYON just has a better pace to the game, and they understand when their strength timers are.
Yeah.
Rumble is catching bot wave on bot tier 2. Dokla runs all the way up the river, and they Nocturnal and find themselves in a 4v2. So they get to burn the Nami flash, and this will increase the strength for the next round.
And I mean, because Photon walked all the way up, again, he's kind of losing waves bot side. It's basically frozen close to the middle, so you could say the argument's same for Dokla, but he pathed towards the top side, then Palafox heads up there, so Photon just has to go for the reset and will now get back to this bottom wave and start CSing.
Yeah, and even FBI and Ignar are in a pretty good state in this game against Berserker Isles, and it wouldn't seem so with Dignitas versus Lion, but if you just look at the actual players, right? Like, FBI and Ignar do have a history over Berserker. I know we're pulling back 3 years at this point, but you remember that type of stuff as players, right? Like, we've beaten this guy before, we've dominated them in the past, and they're playing with a lot of confidence here.
That's why I said, like, you can never discount FBI and Ignar. These guys are good players.
And even if they're not given the early game resources, XU is not pathing towards that bot side. He was not heavily influencing the 2v2, is more so going for invades and Ignar backing him up. FBI and Ignar can still show up later in the game here, even on the Corki Nami. But the big standout still has been mostly Photon. He's the one with the biggest gold lead. It was a 1.2K, and now Dokla walking this wave in, getting the plate will actually make that only a 600 currently, so Photon losing some of that, but still, like, as an individual performer, he's the one that had the most resources in his pocket. But you can make that argument for pretty much everybody at this point. It's only Saint with a slight lead for LYON.
Yeah, but I'd also say Inspired being, it feels like he's down in this game. The gold only says minus 322 to XU, but just the normal power of Inspired Nocturne, at this stage in the game, I see him solo killing control mages the other times he's played it, because he's usually got 3 or 4 kills under his belt.
Well, maybe he's going to find one right here as the tidal wave will go out, but the Fear Tether lands, and Berserker with the kill credit there. First ult, Jet, you get the flash. Second ult, you get the kill.
Well, he's taking, instead of control mages, he's going for supports, but he's still found the windows there.
And that wasn't a 1v1, but you know what? I'll still give it to you.
It works.
Yeah. So LYON do find a play right there. Now Dokka's just going to go for a dive onto FBI. Flash out, flash follow. Valkyrie to safety as Dokka will take a few turret shots. The equalizer slowing him down, roasting him up. Photon looks to continue the chase. Dokka has the TP. No CC on Photon, but he's just got the damage. Overheats and autos him to death.
Damn, he's packing a punch right now. It will still likely buy LYON time to do this Drake. Palafox finished the turret top lane. Gold is going to stay pretty close. XU might try to make a play here.
Yeah, we do have a small window while the rest of LYON are on the Dragon, but Dragon secured, and they get their mid laner out of there. Go for a TP, but it is, or rather a back. It's canceled as XU straight in onto him. Emperor's Divide flash from XU's got the Crescent Guard for the damage. He's not following up, and he takes down Saint. Dignitas find another play.
Oh man, Inspired is going to be in his teammates' ears about this play right here. I feel like what Dokka did was really bad. It was really funny watching Dokka do that on mid-tier 2 while Inspired runs straight to the Dragon. He says, I'm doing this no matter what.
Yep.
And then afterwards, they catch Saint on a late recall. Now, they likely just have to give this Dragon away. Dokka no TP. Inspired actually getting pushed off his blue buff by Palafox. Two jobs here. Burns the smite, pushes him back, and also makes sure there's no smite steal to stop the Baron.
Yeah.
Dignitas is making plays when they need to.
Palafox didn't even use his shockwave earlier there, so he's just threatening back Inspired. That's Baron picked up by Dignitas with a 3,000 gold lead. So LYON are able to delay the game a bit by taking that next Dragon. Dignitas could have been a Dragon Soul point if they had secured that, but still, the Red Bull Baron power play could get Dignitas an even bigger gold lead.
Now let's watch how Dignitas opens up with this Baron. They don't have flash on Quirky, they don't have flash on Zinzao or on Rumble, so they need to make sure they play really well around this open, and Nocturne can't catch them out before anything happens.
Yeah, because a lot of times with Baron, you're tempted to push multiple lanes at once. What would you want ideally them to do? Should they all just overload a lane and try and get as much gold as possible?
So you see they opened up 3 lanes. They all pushed that first wave out. Photon instantly based, and now they're most likely to play mid-bot, because there's standing gold on the map on the bot tier 1 still, and Dragon is in 3 minutes, so that's not a big deal, but yeah, this mid-bot open is very good.
And they're actually sending Palafox down there, the only one with flash right now. If the Nocturne wants to use Paranoia, at least Palafox has some way to get out of there, but they're not actually having him show on the wave.
Yeah, I do feel like you're still a little bit exposed when you're trying to play 2 lanes at once, even if LYON isn't willing to show. And Saint getting that deep push on bottom means they now have to load 4, at least in the mid lane, but it's just difficult to play against this Nocturne and the Azir with how much they can reach you.
Yeah, it's very hard.
Jet, you had made a point while we were watching the last series together in the green room that, yeah, sometimes the Baron, it just doesn't get you much. The raw gold you pick up, the XP you pick up, it's all been nerfed, so you got to use it. You actually have to hit turrets, push waves, and so far they have not been able to do that.
Yeah, the most available standing gold is this outer turret on the bot side, and they had to do a few up-downs to make sure they could push Inspired out of his jungle and could safely approach this. And I do actually like how they're giving so much of this gold to Palafox.
But Saint's going to answer on the top half. You have to imagine that turret's going down. So that's a trade against the Baron buff. And Inspired's here to hover and make sure that Saint's safe. Even takes away some Krug. So I think LYON have actually played this very well. Dignitas will continue the siege, pushing on a tier 2 turret on the bot side. If they can get this, that's where the advantage of the Baron starts to materialize.
Yeah, they're going to get the majority of that turret, but Saint's still going to be able to touch this and get a couple of plates. The raw engage from Dignitas is actually not that high, so they need to be able to group up around objectives and slow play this game, which means they have to play very clean in between the objectives to not get picked off by Nocturne.
So, Demonte, as a coach, when you're looking at a situation like this with these comps, do you feel like Dignitas approaches the correct way, or do you think that there was some more min-maxing they could have done with that Baron?
I think Dignitas did great. I think they're going to come out ahead of this, maybe 1.5k gold. I know we used to have that graphic of the Baron thing.
It's up top right here, so it's 1.3k.
Oh, nice. I was close. Yeah, I mean, they did well. I think the scariest part is the first 3 waves of Nash, especially against Nocturne. And I think, like Jazz said, they put Orion on a bot with who had flash, so she was able to farm safely one time, and then they played around mid-bot, got full bot tier 2, and 3 plates on mid.
And now we have Dragon in 1 minute and 15 seconds. If Palafox can get to the Rabadons, he actually just goes for the Shockwave on Isles, now gets engaged himself, goes into the stasis of the Zonias. Saint's trying to go in for his own play, finds the shuffle as Palafox goes down, but it's answered right back. FBI has the damage, Photon's got the damage, Dignitas got the team fight! A double kill to FBI as Doke will go all out, pulling XU over the wall, but that's a one-way journey. Triple kill to FBI, Dignitas win the team fight.
I mean, they've got a wave mid and 4 dead. Let's see how much they can get with this, Demonte.
Man, could this... I think they're at least getting the inhibitor. I don't think the game ends here, though.
It feels close to an end. If they could have killed Berserker and didn't take that long to finish Dokla, I was thinking end. Photon has no TP and he's resetting, which tells me they're not calling the end. They're calling the inhibit back.
What a crazy turnaround, though. Dignitas had a gold lead, but I didn't think that they'd be able to win a team fight that handedly. Let's get a replay of that, because Palafox starts it off, doesn't even kill Isles with this.
He still takes the blue out of the fight, though, and then that is what starts the fight. He buys the time with the stopwatch, and then everyone else flies in. By the time he dies, Inspire's burned everything, Isles has burned everything, and FBI, importantly, is free hitting in every single one of these fights.
Our boy Palafox getting in there and getting things started.
He is?
Yeah, and Berserker on the side here, he was pretty much focused on Photon the entire time. He was trying to auto-attack the Rumble.
Oh, yeah.
Cheeky smile right there.
Yeah, you never know if they're going to have a funny quote in those moments. But yeah, I mean, great for Dignitas. They win the team fight. Huge injection of gold with a 6.6K gold lead now, and they get the 3rd Dragon.
Demonte, you know how much swagger Palafox is going to walk around with if he beats Lion in this.
The game is doing really well for us.
Oh, yeah, it is Palafox.
It did. It did go very well for them.
Nice.
Yeah. As now they have their eyes set on him. He's got the flash, but he's polymorphed, and he's down. Whoa. Inspired will find a kill. Palafox can have slightly less swagger now, walking around.
Oh, no.
Time to adjust in the seat again. The classic Palafox post-death. Switch the legs.
Yep.
That was an unlucky position. Now you gotta go right leg over left.
Okay, while we have a minute right now, with Baron being up in 40 seconds and Palafox being dead, Demonte, as a former mid laner, talk to me about this Proto Belt hysteria.
Yeah.
Ever since Chovy built Proto Belt Azir, everyone else started doing it, and now we're seeing it on all the control mages. What is your stance on Proto Belt?
Well, the stats on the item are good. You know, you get HP and you get AP.
Yeah.
And then you also get a little movement spell, which actually has... It's definitely some dopamine effect where these players want to build it because, oh, look at me, I get a Proto Belt and make some plays. But it can make a difference a lot of the time. If a Rumble is going to land a Harpoon on you, you could Proto Belt away, maybe Nami ult, these things. I personally am a fan.
Okay.
Yeah, you also get a little ability haste, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cheap as well, so it's a quick power spike. You'll hit that faster than other people going for 2 or 3 more expensive items. It's just so funny that Chovy built it, and then everyone had the ability to try it.
Everyone's got to follow it up. As let's see if he's able to find that big play, because it helps you find more engage options as the Azir. So far, Lion have just been throwing the Nocturne in and then pairing it with the Wild Growth from Isles. But Saint can always go in and find his own play, as the next play could be at this Baron. We have 3 minutes till the Dragon Soul fight. So Baron is that next big objective to pull action towards it. XU has his Guardian Angel completed, so he's ready to scrap. Inspire does not quite have his. As Isles takes a huge chunk right there. Berserker also taking some damage, and in goes actually with the flash. They go out to Saint. He shuffles back. They got FBI, but not fast enough. Trade of 1 for 2 as Dignitas trade up in the fight right now. Berserker's trying his best to kite back. XU lands the knockup. XU takes him down. Berserker's out of there. Lion do not have the carries, as it's Dokla and Isles retreating on opposite sides of Summoner's Rift. Dignitas find another team fight.
I mean, that looked like a scary start because FBI got shuffled and died early, but then XU just went Super Saiyan and ran down Berserker by himself.
Let's go, XU. I'm loving this game.
2-0-6, 30 CS up on Inspired, and this time, with these 3 dead, they might be able to push for the win. Let's see.
Who needs a Dragon Soul when you have a 1-team fight? It's just Dokla and Isles trying to clear out the minions, but Dignitas have 4 members strong. They're not even looking at Dokla. They're just hitting the structures. Dignitas with a Game 1 upset will start this series off strong versus Lion.
The producers told us that the last time Inspired lost to Dignitas was 2023.
Yep, in spring.
So I had to go find the game, February of 2023. And it actually is a time that I, for some reason, don't remember. So listen to these rosters, man. The EG team at the time was Someday Top, Inspired JoJo, and then FBI Vulcan.
Yep.
So it was so far removed from the championship, EG, but still had inspired JoJo. And then the Dig team blew my mind even more. Armut, Santorin Jensen, Tomo, and Ignar.
Yep.
So many players from that game still in this game, but it's been that long. 3+ years since Inspired has lost a game to Dignitas.
You've been talking so much about Palafox and Inspired. What would that look like?
Or rather a series to Dignitas, because this was best of one.
This was best
we
of
were
one.
on during
Still
weekdays.
counts.
Man, I was looking at the item builds. Inspired's Maokai build was Radiant Virtue, Demonic Embrace, a Broken Stopwatch, a Fiendish Codec, and a Dark Seal.
Stopwatch. I forgot. That was a dark time back then when everybody picked up Stopwatch.
This just blows
But again,
my mind.
I'm just going to say, Jet, it's Ignar. I think Ignar is the kryptonite of Inspired. That's what we're
Maybe.
actually learning here, as he wasn't on Dignitas in Split 1 when they matched up, as Mobility and Breezy were subbing in because of the visa issues of FBI Ignar, and this time around, Dignitas looks so much better with this bot lane to step up in these big moments. And also, XU had a great game 1. I want to give a lot of props
so
to
well,
XU.
man. He responded to the early jungle invade from Inspired extremely well. He gained a 2 or 3 camp advantage early. He then snowballed that into a 30 or 40 CS lead.
Yep.
I'd also say XU's team played very well to not let Inspired get many picks. And then most importantly, the last team fight, XU goes for a Zinsec onto Saint, kind of gets it. It's what starts the fight. And then just mauls Berserker's 3.5 item Yunara as the 3 items in towards the end of the fight. So he played with so much confidence, and that's really hard to do after how abysmal his week 1 was. So if you're gonna cut him down for his bad week 1, you have to build him up for this big game 1 of week 2.
Just out jungling Inspired in the early game, having these high impact plays as well. Let's see if we can do it again, because now it's time for game number 2. It's Nico early lock-in for Dignitas, and Rise plus Vi locked in for LYON. So Inspired's going for the classic point-and-click hard engage jungler. And all right, we're getting the Anivia matchup of classic counter into the Rise. We've seen this a lot.
Yep, Inspired's gonna wanna play heavy towards side lanes with the Vi. The Rise plays very well into that. It's a massive power pick. I think Saint's really good at it, but we'll see how much Palafox can control this, because he's now, with 3-game sample size, played very well against Saint so far in 2026.
Yep.
Did really well in the Orianna Azir matchup there in game 1, and now almost certainly we're not seeing that Anivia fly top lane.
No, almost 0% chance.
Wonder is not here.
No, I thank you for bringing it up. I was gonna reference, because you mentioned the side laning of Rise. If you watch LEC and you watch SK games, not always advised.
Bro.
But if you watch Wonder, he kind of plays Anivia like a split pusher. So you know, there's an argument Palafox can answer that in the side. Your wave clear is just crazy. It's almost impossible to dive you with your egg form as well. So you can just kind of hold that lane. Jace now locked in for LYON. So when I see Jace plus Rise plus Vi, I'm thinking this is more of like that 1-3-1 type of composition already they're building.
Definitely feels like it. And Dokla is actually a historically big Jace player. He really loves playing it, even though he hasn't been able to play it that much in recent years. You brought up SK, so I apologize. You have to be such a sicko if you watch SK games and then you're also watching Dignitas versus LYON. So there's so few people that can get this. No, that's just a true fan, Jet. I'm going to take the positive.
Gonna
get this reference, but like, I was watching SK today, man, and they just... I'm sad we don't have an SK-type team in LCS.
Yeah?
1, because it inflates everyone else's records.
Sure.
They lose all the time. But 2, like, they are so close to cracking the code. Like, today... They played Seraphine Nautilus bot.
I got him on a tangent.
Into Karma Ezreal. And this reinforces a meta point as to why the meta is stuck with 80 junglers. Because, or even mage bot lanes. Because we see these bot lane pairs. This is going to become a real point.
Okay. I'm ready for it.
We're kind of stuck in this meta of everyone playing, we'll do Seraphine Ashe, or we'll do Karma Ezreal, or we'll do Yunara Lulu, or we'll do Corki Nami.
The pairings.
They're just these Enchanter 80 carry pairings. And one of the most powerful pairings is Karma Ezreal. Honestly, Nautilus Seraphine crushed it in lane. Totally dominated. But the rest of the comp can't make sense if you have a mage bot lane, because it's so impossible to have an AD mid nowadays.
Yeah.
They
you just do no damage lane.
They tried to play frickin' Aurelia, man. And it was atrocious. And they've tried Yasuo, they've tried Yone, they've tried Zed, they tried all this stuff. And none of it works, and if they can't make it work, then clearly no one can.
This is one of my favorite things now, is just, rage baiting Jet to start talking about random tangents.
Well, it's the meta. Like, why are we always seeing these Sundered Sky, Black Cleaver, GA junglers? It's in part because they're strong, but it's also because you can only play mages mid lane.
Yeah, pretty much. But I will say, when you talk about these pairings and you look at the Caitlyn, I've seen Caitlyn with Nico and Bard. I haven't seen her with a lot of other stuff, so I'm wondering what Lion's actually going to go for. Because Dig already picked the Nico, they banned the Bard out, they banned the Nautilus, and now they're going to lock in Ambessa. I'm assuming that's top lane with the Poppy jungle, but theoretically they could swap that around if they want to. So yeah, what's the support going to be for Isles here?
Well, Bard is banned for the Caitlyn.
Again, like Bard and Nico are all I've seen.
I mean, this would be a classic pair, the Caitlyn Lux. All these bot lanes have, like, they come in pairs now.
Yeah.
If you don't have a known pair, you're doing something wrong.
It's like duos in Pokemon BGC. You know, you always have to have a pair together.
How did I not think of that?
Yeah.
What's
Clearly,
the
you're
Yu-Gi-Oh
thought up on
analogy
here.
of this as well?
The Yu-Gi-Oh analogy. There's not a lot of duo in Yu-Gi-Oh, I guess.
Perfect. We can
It's
move
like,
on.
It's like the Sprite deck. You know, it's level 2 monsters. You pair them together. I'm grasping for straws right now.
Yeah. Okay, so Caitlyn Lux really lane dominant. I think it's going to be difficult for Ezreal Nico to play against that. But at the same time, if you fall behind on that lane, the Ezreal can still land a decent amount of poke because the Mystic Shot is such long range. And I'm very curious to see the Anivia Poppy and how well XU and Palafox can create picks with this.
Production's just telling me that the actual answer was Time Wizard and Baby Dragon. Do you know what that means, Jad? Is this before your time?
Is this for Yu-Gi-Oh?
Well, I'm not going to tell you because I'm asking if you know what that reference is.
No,
Time Wizard and Baby Dragon. What do you think that reference is? As we're getting in for Lion versus Dignitas, game number 2. Again, Dignitas making things interesting today. Starting off with a win in game number 1. Lion with their backs against the wall. Do not want to go 0-2 to start their spring split. And against Dignitas, I think that would be a shocker for a lot of us. Are you Googling Time Wizard Baby Dragon?
No, I'm trying to get into our chat because I feel like someone would have answered, and then I can
100%.
pretend that I knew the whole time.
I guarantee you chat is more hip than you, Jad.
Yeah.
And also, I don't think that's a hip reference at this point. That is definitely an old man reference. So
I mean, chat could be behind. They're saying it's Yu-Gi-Oh.
It is Yu-Gi-Oh.
Okay,
yes.
good.
Yes.
Good.
Also, Big G, our producer's telling me it's a hip replacement reference, not a hip reference. So just want to shout out producers when they're funny. All right, game number 2 here, Jed. I want to set some expectations early on because we talk about Caitlyn Lux. When I see this lane, I think it's going to have a lot of prio, but you were also highlighting that, like, Ezreal can kind of match the range, and Nico also is pretty strong. So do we think that this is going to favor either side, or is bot lane not going to be the focus?
No, I mean, I honestly think you can see FBI Mystic Shotting that first wave, and also Nico just has so much additional wave clear. I think the Ezreal Nico can probably get push here.
Okay.
You can see Caitlyn just trying to use the Q on the waves early, so I don't necessarily think this is a dominant Caitlyn lane. If you do start landing some roots, you can obviously chain it with traps and get some big chunks, but I don't necessarily feel like the outpush, but it's going to be a fist fight to try and get level 2 first.
Yeah, the early barrier to try and get that push. It's only damage rate onto Isles. Berserker's actually full health here, so I think in general you're always happy if the enemy AD carry is trading their health bar for your support, because if Isles needs to go for reset, not that big of a deal.
Yeah, FBI traded his barrier for that first push though, so he's going to be down a barrier if they're able to land a root on him. But yeah, they hit level 2 at exactly the same time, so that's part of the Ezreal, just trying to get his passive up, and then if he starts fighting, he'd also have the lethal tempo, and you win a lot of early trades as Ezreal, just with the raw attack speed you can generate on the kit.
But Dokla's getting pushed topside for Lion. Mid's about a standstill here. You kind of expect that with Ryze versus Nivea in the early levels. So Dokla really the one on Lion's side getting that early push advantage, as both junglers are pathing bots. We see that Inspired's able to get down a little faster as the Vi. XU's now going to be close towards his Raptors.
Yes, sir. We'll see if they end up fist fighting over the bot crab as well, since they're both on a collision course to find each other. Vi's going to clear a little bit faster than the Poppy, though, so bot lane's going to have to be cognizant of that, since we didn't see any jungle shenanigans early. And FBI Ignar, their jungler's going to be really far behind, actually. So XU didn't go red Krugs. He's going to be even slower, which tells me he's actually not even going to do bot crab. So this path is just slightly better if you're planning on going top crab, because it means all of your small camps are going to respawn in sequence, so his Krugs will come up a little bit faster. He'll still hit level 4 off of this full clear, and then would just be like kind of late to top grab, but as you can see, he'd probably lose. There's no way he gets this bot crab with the way the bot lane is right now, so he's going to either run up and get this crab or maybe just forego the crab. But most likely walk all the way up, kill the crab, and then reset for a second full.
But it shows intention, which I do like to see from junglers, is as he's already pathing up there. Inspired will Vault Breaker over the wall and now see, yep, these jungle camps are taken. Drop a ward down, go for a reset. Root lands here onto Ignar. Chain CC Berserker with first blood.
Ooh, Ignar's going to want that one back because now Berserker's going to have a faster first buy. But that is the combo. Ignar was just trying to hold the wave for FBI, trying to not lose the small margin, save a few CS, ends up giving away a big pot of gold to Berserker.
It's always scary to do that against the Lux lane as we see the replay
Try
here.
to interrupt the recall as well.
It's just the light binding.
That was the thing.
Tough angle to hit that light binding, so well played by Isles, who I think has actually been having a fantastic year so far. Isles, I mean, you look at first stand, you look at the start here of 2026, as Ignar lets out a big sigh right there.
That sucks.
Yeah.
It would have been really good, though, if you're able to interrupt that recall. They would have gained tempo from that. Then Ignar could have looked to roam, because part of what he wants to do in this game on the Nico is impact other lanes, use his clone for vision, do all the BS Nico things that you're allowed to do. But giving that over to Berserker, and now Berserker having early Berserker Greaves is pretty big.
Oh, thematic. As he's able to pick up the namesake boots early on. Battle box.
True. Signature.
You didn't even try that, did you?
No. Do you remember the Sven signature Berserker story?
No.
He'd always build exactly the same 2 items on Lucian, like RFC second in every single game.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever Sven said you should build something else, Berserker would say, I can't, this is my signature. Like, these are my signature items.
Yeah, it's good to have a brand, everybody.
Yeah.
Got to build up the players in that way. As bot side there again, trades going in the way of LYON mid lane. Saint pushes out Palafox, who doesn't have the TP. So Palafox actually wants to stick around, hit level 6, and try and take this cannon at the very least. He's so close to 6. Once you hit it, you just kind of drop it down on the wave. There it is. Now he's trying to punish Saint, who's hovering right on the edge.
I want Saint to get 6.
I mean, Saint has the flash, so like if he finds the angle to get in and just pop Palafox, maybe he kills him, but Palafox will back off.
It's the art of using your egg for tempo. Like, if he can egg himself in the turret as they're trying to contest this Drake a little bit, there's no way they get through the Lux.
Yeah, another light binding there onto XU to deny the approach, and the Caitlyn traps as well.
Yeah, and this bot lane now does seem to be in the control of LYON with Berserker and Isles, and I do want to shout out Isles a little bit. He's been playing well, I'd say, even since first stand. Just last week, his Nico, even though it's been denied in this game, found some insane teamfight engages. So Isles has been making some really big plays for LYON, and we'll see if he can continue to do it, even though he hasn't had flashy characters so far, right? He's played Lulu into Lux, but already is the reason they were able to create that first blood in this game.
Well, I'd say Lux, in lore accurate-wise, pretty flashy. At least pretty bright here. Another trade from...
Touché. Yes, good job.
More health bar trades here between Palafox and Saint. Now XU's coming in. Haven't highlighted it yet, but the potential actually get back to that Dokla in a 1v1 here, going on the Photon public execution to try and get away. Dokla does not land that final shock blast, and Photon's fine. But the potential of the Anivia wall plus the Poppy, you gotta keep your eyes on that, because that always could be just an instant kill for Dignitas if they pull it off.
Definitely can be. I don't know if they have enough damage yet, but once you get like a Sundered Sky, definitely able to pull that off. Want to watch how that lane continues to go. The top lane with Grasp Jace, we haven't been able to talk about that much. This is what we saw Morgan go as well. Going to be stronger in lane. Doesn't scale as well, but the way Morgan scaled well with it, he then got a 5,000 gold lead. So it didn't matter that he didn't have Conqueror.
It kind of equals out, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Doku's going to try and do something similar.
Oh, nice little single barb onto Isles, but no follow-up from FBI. So Isles is able to get away just fine. Now ace in the hole. Hey, nice. I don't know if that was good guy support or scumbag FBI, actually, as he's on the arcane shift to do it. Yeah.
You know, they're in for a little bit of pain currently with Berserker. Having his upgraded boots already makes it a lot easier to sidestep anything that Dignitas try and poke back with. Not to mention, it's just like whoever can hit the wave first is having a good time in this matchup. So good vision control, good shove, and they'll likely just go for another base right now.
And they will go for that reset as you're talking about it here. No one going for the early Cole, so it's only that tier that's stacking up for FBI for the pretty slow bot lane. Now, that first blood did come through in the 2v1 down there, but outside of that, it's kind of reminiscent of the last game, where it's come down to just a lot of, slow scaling play for the lane push and then play for your better resets here.
Yeah.
And also the junglers aren't even going for that many invades, as Inspired will go for these grubs. They got that early dragon, and now they're looking at the second neutral.
In this game, though, LYON is just having lanes go a lot better than in the last game. Because I'd say last game they were a little bit on the back foot in the jungle, but then also from the draft, Demonte was pointing out how he felt like Dignitas had the winning lanes kind of across the board. And even though Anivia is a bit of a team fight counter to Ryze, I don't necessarily feel like it can punish Ryze too hard in the early laning phase. Jace as well is going to bully pretty much everything. And then the bot lane, self-explanatory, already being able to get the kill. So lanes across the board are winning, and that just allows Inspired to take whatever camps he wants and continue to full clear.
Yeah, that second neutral objective is secured, and he is not falling behind XU twice in a row. That definitely was a big point of Dignitas' strength last time, is the fact that XU had stepped up big in the matchup. As now Saint and Inspired are going to go for a dive under top turret onto Photon. No TP to back him up. It is just a kill to Dokla.
Palafox started that TP, but is very slow TP.
Yeah.
I saw the TP before I saw the Realm Warp. I'm like, oh, Palafox sees the play. He's ahead of it.
I guess he just didn't TP to the turret, though. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And it was slow,
Yeah.
I think.
Until you get that upgrade.
He gets the wave.
Okay. Oh, XU not going to be able to stop that reset, so Saint does get back. And now it's going from bad to worse for Photon topside because Dokla is the one that got the kill, Jat. He already had the CS advantage. He had multiple plates that he just got on his own. Now there are 2 plates left, plus he gets the kill gold. So Dokla's kind of poised to take over. The Flash Pop Blossom from Ignar. Follow up with the Tangle Barbs onto Berserker, but FBI just can't quite get the damage in. Flash from Isles sets up Berserker for the takedown. 3-0 kill score as LYON's bot lane do it again.
Isles Berserker with the Caitlyn Lux, the flashy binding from Isles into just an ultimate straight to the face. You would hope that it actually does more damage if you're that close.
That was a flashy play there, Jed.
Yeah. You would hope that the Lux ultimate, they've changed the name to Final Spark, would do extra damage this up close. It doesn't, but it's still enough for the kill. Gives it over to Berserker. And this is after they've been playing around Dokla, so best of both worlds. Another big sigh from Ignar.
Yeah.
Best of both worlds on the side of LYON, where they're able to help the Jace for the kill, and bot lane is organically getting 2 kills of their own.
11-2 all-time record for Isles on Lux. That's a fantastic find from our stats right there. Shout out Leo. I'm just going to give credit to Leo. I'm assuming it's him that's pulling that one up for us. And he's showing us why. I mean, this is now back-to-back. That was Ignar starting the play. FBI just wasn't quite able to get the damage off. Like, ideally, you want that Arcane Shift plus the Essence Flux, plus the Auto, and then the Q to come in. But he just like didn't chain it correctly with the flash from the Poppy, or the Nico rather.
Yeah, definitely not. Also, Master Guard Power Spike items, Sundered Sky completed for Inspired, just as the second Drake is up, so they can continue to push this bottom lane with the Caitlyn Lux. And if anyone wants to help out, Inspired's going to kill you.
Also, if FBI's alone, he's probably going to die. He doesn't have the flash
Watch
available.
the counter gank, though. Nice play by XU.
Topside, Dokla's the target for Dignitas. He flashes towards his turret, but Photon's looking for the damage. XU finds a headbutt. Photon with the shutdown.
Honestly, that can't get much better for Dig considering the circumstances. A lot of credit will go to that ward you see in the Drake pit to really guarantee that Inspired is there. Dokla needed to be playing weak side right there, but was feeling extra confident, ends up losing his flash, and then the kill also going over to Photon is going to help Photon get to that Eclipse where he's going to be able to stand and fight in that lane.
It's still a 300 gold lead for Dokla, but Photon will go for the reset. And let's see if he's got it yet. There it is. Eclipse already picked up, plus even some components on top of it, so some more health. He's got the boots. Photon is ready to actually survive this lane a little better here. As, again, it was still the second dragon picked up for LYON, so they are stacking these up. I think they're in a fine spot, but this is signs of life for Dignitas in the game that was getting kind of out of control for them.
For sure. LYON is well on their way to a Game 3. Dignitas also well on their way to a Game 3. So I didn't need to correct myself.
It would have worked either way.
Yeah, it would have worked either way.
Yeah.
Gotta trust your gut.
instincts. Yeah, there you go.
Or
Gut
instincts both work.
They're the same thing, really, right? Kind of like saying Dignitas and LYON are both on the way to Game 3.
A lot of replaceable words. Replace Palafox and Saint, similar. Mid laners, they both play the mid lane.
True?
Yep.
Indistinguishable, essentially. As Ignar's going for a roam up to the top side, will spot Inspired, and that means Inspired knows, yeah, there's a ward there. Not going to go for the dive, but Photon could have been in some danger. Now we'll catch that wave, and there's one plate left on that top turret. Flash from Saint straight in to the mid lane. It's on FBI, and he's locked down. Berserker on a killing spree, 3-0 on the Caitlyn.
I mean, Berserker's getting the kills, but Isles is styling on this Lux.
Yeah.
Setting everything up, so Berserker just traps and shoots. Hex Optics completed. He's going to be very difficult to reach in these team fights.
Yeah, I want to get another look at the replay of that one, because Isles using the Shurelya's, Saint flashing forward to guarantee the initial route. Let's see that one. Yeah, FBI just thinks he's safe as the Ezreal.
Yeah, Saint Isles. Let's see, maybe this was all Saint, because he gets the route.
It's followed up by Isles. Yeah.
I mean, he delayed it really well.
Yeah.
You could have early chained, and maybe he's able to get out of there, but just another unlucky death for the Dig bot lane.
Yeah, sometimes as Ezreal, I feel like players just get a little too confident, as actually Fox stopping the back of Saint right there, has XU nearby, but Saint should be just fine. But yeah, as Ezreal, you just have so much, ability to kite away and get out of bad spots that sometimes you just don't realize that you're in danger. XU didn't quite find the angle on the wall, and now he could be in danger as Inspired and Isles both coming down. Sharks in the water as LYON are looking for it. Nice little frostbite there onto Inspired, and now the Keeper's Verdict, and that just means that they turned the attention on to Saint, who thought his jungler would have his back. XU with the outplay, knocking Inspired away.
There we go, Palafox and XU. So first off, Palafox landing his Anivia Q right as Inspired started charging the Vault Breaker to prevent the hard engaged chain. And then as soon as XU headshot Inspired with the Poppy ultimate, they turn on to Saint. Really well played retreat there by the Poppy and Anivia. So to see it one more time, they look dead to rights here, especially with Lux on the way. But that stops the Inspired engage, and then Saint says clearly he really wants to go in. And then right here, Saint's like, oh, I've gone too far.
Yep.
It is far too late.
Walking out of that brush was a bad call, I'll say. As XU is able to find the angle and able to find a kill for the team. Dignitas still behind in goal, but they're finding these little moments, whether it's on the top half, whether it's on the bot half there. They're not just giving up and letting LYON play the LYON game, which is just, keep pushing these waves and keep finding these advantages. They are pushing LYON to actually making some misplays here.
Yep.
And Dignitas are benefiting from it.
Still a very winnable game for Dignitas, but at the same time, there is a Caitlyn on our screen with a 1,500 gold lead. So Berserker's going to continue to scale pretty well in this one. No super tanks that he's going to need to cut through either.
What was that last week's stat of like the biggest ever? Okay, we'll get back to that. Pop Blossom here on the top side, plus the public execution setting it up to knock down Dokla. Has to get Flash out of Photon, and it's Ignore with the kill, but Dignitas find their man.
Yeah, Berserker killed the turret, but the more they can start hunting down Dokla, the harder it is to play this game. So now that Photon is completely even in this lane that had been going pretty poorly, it's going to give them something to play through. So Ambessa can absolutely threaten the Jace now. Anivia can keep matching the Rise, and if Poppy arrives, they'll win that 2v2. So Dignitas definitely has ways to stall this game now that Photon has been able to pull himself back in this game.
He's going to get full turret here. Yeah. You have to imagine if he sticks around, nobody from LYON are coming to stop this. Photon doesn't get the kill, but he does get a lot of gold still injected into him now with a 350 gold lead for himself. So big comeback as LYON will start up their third dragon. This puts them on soul point, and it does not look like Dignitas will contest. Yeah. So while that's happening, a reminder for everybody, it was announced earlier today. Check out our socials. Check that out on your screen right there. Spring Finals. Jat, we got a live finals again.
The Mullet Arena.
The Mullet Arena. June 13th and 14th. Set your calendars, everybody. Set your clocks. Write it on your calendars. Mark it.
Yeah. Set the reminder
to put it on your calendar.
Google Calendar app.
Do you think anybody still these days has like a paper calendar?
Yeah.
That like writes with a pen? Do you?
I think more likely you have that thing on your fridge that you use a Sharpie on.
I think more likely right now Saint is going to die again. He walked up and Dignitas had the trap laid, and they spring it for another kill. Saint's going to have to write down something as a reminder to not, walk up when he doesn't see the enemy Poppy. I think he's got a target on his back right now.
Mark your calendar. Dig's going to keep finding picks. Just every time. Yeah. My goodness, look at that. So they've shut down Dokla twice now. They've shut down Saint twice now. The objectives have been completely given over, so still a winning position for LYON in this game, but Dig is making it very hard for them to be able to win this. And remember, Dig did win the game 1 unexpectedly, so a couple more things go well for Dig, and they could walk away with the surprise series win, and that would make LYON 0-2 on the year.
Not
I know
the
I just
expected
made
start.
a lot of assumptions.
Yeah.
Because LYON is actually winning this game.
It feels like you're trying to reverse cast a curse right now, Jed.
I mean, we just need to call out the fact that Dignitas is playing so much better than they did in week 1, but then also you have to call into question the flaws of this LYON roster, because in so much of lock-in, they looked a little questionable. They fell to the lower bracket and then weren't predicted by that many people to win. They pulled everything together in the playoffs, but then showed some of the same weaknesses at first stand and then in week 1. So they're still clearly scaling as a team, which we can't forget. We're still very early on into the year. April 11th for these teams that are trying to build up towards the World Championship eventually. But you're seeing the issues that lie, and they're by no means a finished product.
I mean, you can say that, but when you do the math, we're at essentially the weekend that usually spring finals would have been. Spring finals would have been like last weekend or this weekend.
Yeah.
So you can still make the argument, even in the 2-split format of ages past, this is basically the halfway point for the team. As now Dignitas will drop the Herald here and go for a charge in. Berserker's going to clear out a lot of that wave, and the turret will stand, so no actual break for Dignitas.
Yeah, we're not the halfway point. You're making me doing finger math. So January, February, March.
April.
Now we're partway through April. That's 3 months and a couple weeks.
LCS finals in Raleigh was on Easter weekend.
Yeah, but we're going to have summer finals later. Like we're like 3/8,
I'm
3/9
saying in like
through the year,
old
3/10.
times. Okay.
Yeah, old times. If we had played more games, we'd be halfway through. But we haven't played that many games.
Yeah, Dignitas especially have not played that many games.
Like
LYON
10 games.
have probably played like twice as many as them.
Way
in that
more.
First split.
LYON actually played more games in lock-in than Gen G played in LCK Cup.
Wow.
That's crazy, right?
That is kind of crazy, actually.
Yeah, that's why Gen G lost. They didn't play enough games.
I mean, it's kind of a meme, but also there is like some real truth to that just having more stage games and more experience will set up the team for more success. But that only reinforces how impressive this is from Dignitas, because they haven't had as many stage games, and they are making LYON work for it. Game 1 was a win, and it looked like a clean win. Game 2 here, LYON are in Dragon Soul Point in 1.5 minutes time. That is where the game could just be decided. They still have a lead. But will Dignitas find some way to wrestle that back?
Ah, geez, it's gonna be difficult. They really need to get probably bot lane pushed. I'd like to see Dignitas kind of overload the bot lane and kill that outer turret that just has 1 plating left, because if they're trying to enter, let's say through mid lane, and LYON is first to the spot, I can easily see Berserker just laying 5 Caitlyn traps down in the river, and then Dig doesn't have a good way to enter. But if they are able to kill that turret and gain access to the blue side jungle of LYON, they can't get cut off as easily by Caitlyn traps and might actually have a fight. Because if they're just trying to walk straight in to like Jace, Caitlyn, Lux, I don't think they're going to be able to contest this. But if they find a flank, they'll obviously have a chance.
I'll always favor red side at these big dragon setups, though, just because they have the easier approach to the banana brush. If they get a control ward down there, so easy to control the river vision at that point. So Dignitas are going to have to find some way in. Poppy Ultimate's a great tool for moments like this, because if you can just like knock away Inspired, or even somebody like Saint, and just be like, okay, half their damage is gone.
Yeah.
Then that can immediately turn a fight in your favor, but it's going to take some creativity and some execution on Dignitas' side, because LYON have the control. 15 seconds, they got their wards down, and they're making sure that Dignitas do not have an easy approach in.
I mean, it's looking hard. They're trying to overload mid just to get a little bit of mid push, but they're going to try and walk in with no vision and no flank at the moment.
Yeah. Saint used the Realm Warp to try and link up with the rest of the team, as now Dignitas have brute forced away and using the Nico clone. There's the traps you're talking about.
Yep.
Berserker's just trying to deny the approach for Dignitas, as Saint has kind of an annoying flank angle right now that Dig have to watch out for. Dragon is getting peppered down, as Dignitas, XU's gonna have to walk up and tank the first trap right there. Dodges the light binding.
Oh, it's bad.
And another trap just gets placed. Photon doesn't have the flank threatened yet. As the Dragon's on to have health, we're gonna have to look for something here. Keeper's Verdict will swing and miss. Ignar not able to find the Paul Blossom either, but they do get the Dragon steal, as XU now lands the engage onto Inspired. Flash over the wall, as LYON, they still have the traps down, but they're actually the ones getting hunted. As Dig walk up, Saint with the Ghost Pop is trying to get some damage down for the team. As Dignitas are out of there, they get the Dragon, they get out.
Oh, just like they drew it up.
Yeah.
We're going to go face first through Caitlyn, and then our Nico's going to steal it.
Yeah.
I believe
All according to
Inspired
plan.
smote at like 1,500 and the Nico ult stole. Unless he smote a champion. He did this last week on Baron. So let's see what happened with Inspired Smite, because XU actually can't get in. So Inspired Smite's at 1540. He was trying to Q Smite it, but he missed his Q. Ooh. Inspired, my man.
Ooh. Well, you also, I think he's trying to Q away from the Pop Blossom to not get hit by that.
Maybe it was like a wall that moved him.
You give your life also for that Dragon Soul like 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, I'm going to watch that again. I want to make sure I'm not giving Inspired unnecessary flame. Because maybe the Anivia wall knocked him out.
We're taking a look at it. No,
No. Maybe he wasn't even trying to Q it.
I think he was trying to Q away from the Pop Blossom. That's what it
just to
looked
get
like
in range.
And yeah, it was close. But even XU was like close enough to threaten
Unless
the
you
Smite
see the
steal.
health bar. I got it.
Yeah, it's maybe we can ask him later if we get a chance to interview Inspired or anybody on the side of LYON. Either way, Dignitas have stalled the game. That's the takeaway here. LYON still have control. They still got the 2.5K gold lead, but the later the game goes, the less that is going to matter. It's not like a game-winning gold lead by any stretch. And a lot of it is just on one member, Berserker. 3-item Caitlyn is very scary, but like if you're able to lock her down, Public Execution, Pop Blossom, Berserker dead just means that now Dignitas, that gold lead is essentially gone.
For sure. I mean, not very inspiring to me the way they found their way into that Dragon Pit. You can see how difficult it is to walk through. I would like to once again say they should try and play through bot lane. But that's a discussion for the review. Because in game, Dignitas has decided mid is the best. So I believe we're going to continue to go through mid.
We'll talk to assistant coach Emmy about that, as we've got some coach react camps from him so far about how they were able to go in there. Because even XU wasn't able to land his keeper's verdict onto anybody. So Dig just kind of found a miracle, and it will delay this game longer. 2.5 minutes for the next Dragon Soul attempt for LYON. But the longer this game goes for Dig, the more items they get on Anivia. The more, tanky XU's going to get. He now has 2 items completed. And also the harder it can be for Dokla in the side lane against Ambessa, who, if she finds that right angle, can try and 100-0 you.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to be able to get some standing gold onto the Ambessa in the bottom lane as well. I think they're just trying to catch up in items a little bit. And there's no way they can really brute force their way onto Caitlyn Lux, who have perma mid-prio this game. And really not good ways of burning flashes either on the side of Dignitas. I think they're just hoping for small miracles in this game, which is not a bad strategy. When you're slightly behind, rather than full sending it and just running it down, just making the game as hard as possible and waiting for the objective fights when the other team needs to make something happen can be a window back into this game. One good wall stun in a fight onto, as you mentioned, Saint, Dokla, or Berserker can lead to a pretty good fight.
I feel like Berserker is the big hit. If they're able to take down this Caitlyn, you look at the gold, it's 3.1K. You look at Berserker, it's 2.1K. So killing that Caitlyn means that essentially that gold lead is gone. And also you get a big shutdown for it. Now, is it going to be easy? I don't think so. Caitlyn's got some big range, especially with the rapid fire cannon completed. So work's cut out for Dignitas. LYON, I mean, it's interesting to see the highs and lows of this team, just like big picture-wise. Because you talked about their journey last split. They weren't really favorites going into that finals. A lot of people had C9 3-0, but LYON were able to get it done. Yeah. And now I think we're seeing them regress a little bit back towards their regular season of Split 1 performance.
A little. They still find ways. Like, I feel like they played a really good game here. And if not for a missed smite that gets stolen by a normal ability, they have Soul, and they're probably threatening Baron and moving on to a game 3. So their macro, there was an interview from ThinkCard, I believe, on NAMN, where ThinkCard was saying, no, LYON just have some of the best macro in the world, he said. And I think there were instances where that is true. Even in First Stand, when they were losing, they found really creative ways in to contest Dragon Soul or to contest Elder. And they find ways to have punchers' chances in games that they're even losing, but what they're not amazing at is blowing people out. Yeah. They're not amazing at, let's just watch Saint, Berserker, and Dokla solo kill people all game. That just doesn't happen with LYON. So or even have to win games in slow ways.
Pushing a big lead either. As, next Dragon's coming up at 5 seconds. Inspired almost got walled out right there. Is able to wall breaker away. And now we have another round of the Dragon Steal attempt. Dignitas
went
this
through
time
bot.
approaching from the bottom side.
Yeah, and now Photon has access to the jungle, which I think is a better flank angle.
And Dignitas, they have all the traps from Caitlyn on the top half there, so yeah, they can just walk in. Ignar's threatening the flank as the Poppy, and that's flash out from Saint. Almost got picked off from Palafox, as now they turn on to Inspired. Vault Breaker away, half health on the Vi, but a huge chunk onto XU, as Dokla is able to land the Shock Blast. So low health bars on both junglers means that it's kind of an awkward little dance here.
Really awkward. Inspired's able to pick up the fruits. I don't believe XU was as lucky.
Dokla not landing that empowered Shock Blast. Ignar's able to sidestep as Palafox throwing out the ultimate just to get some vision down. Gets hit by the light binding, and everyone's sending it onto the Anivia. So Ignar just looks for the backline. XU as well. Flash away from Inspired. Palafox gets out of there, and nobody dies on either side.
Right, Inspired has about 1,000 health. XU's also the same.
Low health bars on both junglers means that the 50-50 flip is going to get very exciting. Right now, LYON are still focusing it down. Saint's going for it. Berserker as well. XU looks for the steal, and he does not get it. Inspired lands that smite. Dragon Soul to LYON plus a pick or a kill onto XU. Palafox has to flash over the back of the Dragon Pit wall. That is LYON's Dragon Soul.
Yeah, so Dig was trying to be cute there. Everyone was low, so they tried to double base, double TP, and then win a fight. But it seems like LYON called them on their bluff, and while both the Soul Laners were in base, they just burst out the Drake, and even though XU could go for a steal, it was unlikely with the 5v1. Everyone balled up around the Draken as well, so harder to actually click the smite on the right thing, and with XU down, Soul, Baron, likely game to LYON.
Let's get another look at that, because this was such a weird setup from both sides. Like,
yeah, not a lot of engage tools on either side. And then Ignar saw this big play. I just don't ever see how you can get through the team to actually follow up on that. And then both teams just dump so much damage onto Drake. Looks like we're going to see, as they try and teleport back in, XU Hex Flash over the wall. So hard to get that smite.
yeah.
Inspired gets it this time.
Nice attempt. As we see the player not quite able to find the angle he's looking for. Coach is reacting as well right there. Dignitas, it felt like they had something in them, but end of the day, they'll get this tier 2 turret. So get some gold for that as the objective bounty has been claimed. But LYON, actually now, that was a negative Red Bull Baron power play for one moment there. They actually have not got a lot.
Objective bounty is big. Baron only gives about 1,500 gold itself, so you take an objective bounty turret, you're going to make LYON need to do something with this Baron. I think larger scale, though, just with Ezreal and Anivia being kind of poke heavy, and then the Ocean Soul, it's going to make it very difficult for Dig to win Wars of Attrition. But there's a chance this does go to Elder unless Dig tries to send it.
Yeah. LYON right now, they get their tier 2 turret in the mid lane. Another wall out onto Inspired, but they haven't quite found those super impactful ones. Plus, he always has the Q Vault Breaker to get away. But Dignitas have wave clear with the Anivia. They're going to try and utilize it here in the top side, as Berserker actually takes a big Mystic shot there before the shield from Lux comes out, as they're shoving in that mid lane. Siege continues. It's only a 600 gold lead so far from that Baron itself. 4.3k overall, plus a Dragon Soul. Still puts LYON in a fantastic spot here, either to take the Elder Dragon if they can't get too much done with this Baron, or to just keep taking more Barons.
For sure, very low death game overall. Neither team wanting to hard engage. And there haven't been any big swings in this game either, because it's been so controlled from LYON around this Caitlyn, who's just getting more and more items built up. Last Whisper completed. Lord Dom's likely on the way, and they're just really trying to slow play this Baron. So it was at 0 because of the objective bounty. In this last deploy, they've gotten 1,900 gold. So you can see they're actually pushing 3 lanes at once, and it's because Dignitas' engage is kind of so poor.
Yeah.
This is a way for them to maximize gold.
Also, we had identified it in Pick and Ban. It's kind of a 1-3-1 composition. With the Jace, the Ryze, they can handle those side lanes just fine on their own. Berserker and Isles in the mid lane, Inspired kind of bouncing between mid and top. So that's all the tier 2 turrets, sans that bot turret. But 5 overall for LYON, and they've expanded their gold lead to 6.1k. Elder's up in 2.5 minutes, so I imagine it will come down to one final Elder fight. And when you have the Dragon Soul, when you have this type of gold lead, theoretically, it should be a cakewalk for a team like LYON. They've had good setups around the Dragons so far. It's gotten a little wacky as Dignitas have found ways in, but still you have to favor LYON in this situation.
Yeah, always hard to get through the traps and the Lux and the Jace poke, especially with the Ocean Soul. It's going to mean that Dig would want to play fast somehow. So maybe they just kind of send it if they can do some Poppy wall combo into XU, then ejecting a bunch of people. Maybe, so like, it's on Ignar to maybe find some type of miracle angle. I know I'm saying a lot of maybes because it's a very low chance that Dig wins this, even if they're extending the game.
It's one of these moments where this is how LYON plays, and we highlight this a lot because it's the identifier for the LYON style. It's just this slow control, bleed out your opponent, take all these neutral objectives, win through the resource game. And yeah, Berserker got like way ahead in the laning phase. They had a great time because Isles was fighting these light bindings back to back. But since then, it has slowed down greatly, and we've seen more of that OG LYON style.
Yeah, Mikhail is completed by Isles as well, so even if they land a really nice Poppy stun, Isles can Mikhail someone and they can probably flash away. So
I like the pivot. It's basically the same like Enchanter build on Isles. He does not go in the Nico build where I was thinking, oh yeah, the Lux, like it's about the damage and the setup for the Caitlyn to kill. But it's like, no, he's instead opting for more of that Enchanter style to set up the team, and also will help him stay alive with Shirelia's move speed.
42 seconds. Look at the wards that they have set up on the bot lane though. So I think for the most part, Dig push out mid as much as they can, then maybe try and sneak around to the bot lane. Saint, if he can get deep push on the bot, that's going to be good for LYON, because if they can basically funnel everyone on Dig through the same zone, it's just going to make it even more difficult for Dignitas to approach. And that's one shot from Berserker.
Yeah, those headshots doing a lot of damage. Light binding as well, and Photon gets flashed out of Isles. Public execution is down, but Isles' reaction time was fast enough.
Yeah, that's the type of play they'd want to go for, though, because if they do a full 5v5, it's unlikely to happen. So I like them taking that shot and just puts them in a bad position now.
And now Dignitas taking the same approach. They're going through the bottom side here as Ignar gets chunked out, has to go into the stasis, flashes away from the trap. And now the Poppy engage, not really going to be an option here for Dignitas. Elder Dragon is up, and it's been started by LYON. Dignitas, their support does not have time to go for reset. Another light binding over the wall into Palafox, plus the shock blast from Dokla. Big damage from the poke. Inspired goes for the cease and desist onto Photon, trying to lock down the Embessa, but he goes into the stasis now of the GA, resurrecting back up. And now the Realm Warp not going to be taken. LYON just pushing back Dig. Yeah,
this is the Ocean Soul War of Attrition, though.
Yeah.
Dig's health bars aren't going back up. LYON's are.
Photon going for another reset TP play in, but he's not going into the pit. He's instead going all the way into the bottom wave. Dokla has a flank here, looking at XU. Knocks back Inspire, but no damage on the Dragon, so Berserker just autos him down. Picks up a double kill for his trouble. Another light binding lands onto FBI. Berserker flashes forward. Saint gets the kill. LYON are slaughtering Dignitas at the Elder Dragon. They'll get the objective, they'll get the ace, and LYON will take game number 2.
Dignitas made it difficult for LYON, but we're going to be going to that game 3. It's really all about the Caitlyn Lux this game. They ran the laning phase, they landed binding after binding in the team fights, and Dokla is going to be winning the race to the Nexus.
He's the TP's in first, the rest of the team now joining him, but LYON take a victory lap at the Nexus. GG, they'll take game 2. Yeah, I'm going to start taking off my watch and wristbands. It is getting hot in here.
Yeah, how many LYON players did you put on your fantasy team, Fingers?
Okay, fun fact. 0.
Wow, good job.
Yeah. I maybe forgot to update from
last week. My goodness.
I updated it, but I never clicked save, and it was on my PC at home because I wasn't like sure about it. I had to change it, walked away, got some food, came back, totally forgot I was doing it. And then in my head, I was like, oh yeah, I did it. You know, that job's done. But I still have last week's, which fun fact, I do have Photon.
Wow.
So there's a chance that I actually get a big payout here.
Yeah, I tried to get the many different team multiplier again. Yeah. So I only have one LYON player, but I was thinking like, wow, Saint should really do well against Palafox. But that was classic Palafox disrespect. Yeah. Because Saint, 5 points game 1, 12 points game 2. He needs to play Ahri for the multiplier and pop off in game 3. Otherwise, he's a wasted pick.
Yeah. I mean, what's Photon at right now?
I don't have those.
You don't have those ones up?
Unless he's on your own team.
You're helping me out with that.
Yeah.
You know.
I can talk about the draft if you want to go check your own team.
You know, how about that? We'll catch up on the pick and ban. What's been banned so far, Jay?
Yeah, so far bans are Pantheon, Bard, Varus on the side of Dignitas, and on LYON it is Seraphine, Nautilus, Jarvan, which means the Giga Enchanter Karma is available. And oftentimes the counter to the Karma would be the Nautilus, but the fact that LYON left it up makes me think they have an answer for it. And also, putting Ignar on an Enchanter rather than an Engage pick can also be seen as a strategy.
Yeah.
So put out that really juicy pick for Ignar and see if he takes it.
Yeah, let's see. As I did check, you bought me enough time. Photon's at 14 points currently, 14.68.
You got Photon
got 25
Rumble,
and Mbessa in only 3 points in that game too.
Yeah. But you got the point multiplier in game 1 from Rumble.
No, I picked Photon Gwen.
Oh, never
point
mind.
Multiplier, yeah. I don't think he's ever going to play Gwen, though. That's old Photon.
Let's see. Inspired getting Wukong early seems really good. No Poppy to block it. Xin, Nocturne, Vi, all gone already.
Yeah, I mean, like, what do you even play into that at this point? Maybe you're going towards more of those things like Aatrox jungle if you're trying to pull in some of those top lane bruisers that can also be played in that role. Other like tanks, like I like the Wukong into the Mundo. I think Wukong into something like a Sejuani can feel pretty good. So see what actually wants to fall back on here, as they've only shown the Karma so far.
The Karma Jhin. The most useful lane in League of Legends. Karma Jhin. For what it's worth, it's actually very strong in lane. I know Masu Cryojin were playing this a little bit in lock-in and actually dominating with it, but if it falls behind, it can feel very useful.
Very useful.
That's what you say when you're useless.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they can land roots. They can land some slows.
Many roots and slows.
Shields.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All things
those are all useful things, even if you're behind in gold. Gnar, blind pick. Not typically something, I mean, it is a safe blind pick, but usually I still see that as something that's like picked when you see the Renekton or something along those lines. But it's going to be Vayne for Dokla. Jat, we're in for another treat.
We're in for one. They're giving Dokla a little bit more agency in draft here. That's always going to be a discussion with Dokla, because the games when he's thrown onto weak side, they really just abandon his lane entirely. And then when they did start turning things around in lock-in playoffs, they were giving him a lot of counter picks. He did try playing the Vayne at first stand, didn't go well. This Vayne could obviously go bottom lane, but I don't think you're going to lane that into Karma Jhin, so it's almost certainly going to be played into that Gnar top.
But keep your eyes open, because like, maybe they want to go crazy. Maybe Berserker's saying, lock me Vayne versus Karma Jhin. Don't expect that one. They get to ban some more junglers away, as Skarner, of course, that is one that makes a lot of sense here. Expecting something else targeted towards XU, because with J4 banned, with Pantheon banned, and with the fearless bans of Xin Zhao, Vi, Poppy, Nocturne, there's not a lot left that's going to be able to step up to the Wukong. Dignitas, I mean, they could lean towards frontline. Gnar can be frontline for them, especially with the Karma giving him the shields, but they still don't have kind of that dedicated frontline right now.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, the Vayne would also kind of block the Mundo jungle if they were thinking of going for that. And Mbessa would be another jungler, but it was taken earlier on in Fearless in the top lane. So you're kind of left with something like Aatrox, which I don't know if that's something XU is down for. I really like those two bans there of the Skarner and the Malphite. Sejuani's another one that is decent into Wukong, but not good into Vayne. And then also, you start to question where your damage will be coming from if you're running Sejuani Jhin.
And you're not going to have that melee matchup top lane to help out the Sejuani. I guess Gnar sometimes can be, but you don't have a lot to help set up the Sej. So let's see what XU wants to lock in. It's LYON's pick next, though, as, we're expecting Vayne top, which means that it will be an 80 carry focus, hovering the Sivir, as Berserker is giving himself a chuckle here on stage, feeling good after that last win, and also just how the lane went in that last win as well.
Really dominant for them. Okay, Vayne's locked in, top lane for sure. Sivir, great scaling, won't win lane early, can definitely scale up later. Just do it. Just do the Ivern.
Do you like it?
This doesn't help the damage.
I was going to say, this is like not a lot of damage if they lock in the Ivern jungle. So instead, they're going to give XU a little more time to think about it and probably lock in mid lane. It'll have to be a blind pick here. Control Mage that can do some damage as Palafox standing up to reposition. It's game time. He's got to lock in.
Well, he sits on a foot all the time.
So, is that what's going on there?
Yeah. So whenever he has an opportunity, he switches the foot that he sits on.
Interesting.
It's just a gamer thing.
I was not caught up on that lore. Yeah. Do you sit on a foot?
No.
I do sometimes.
I'm not young enough to sit on the foot anymore.
No?
The knees would go.
I believe in you. Well, let's see what they lock in here. Maokai, another one of those engage junglers, does not help out too much with the damage, but you can go for the more of the AP build, so it will facilitate that somewhat, and it is locked in.
Plus, you can just click the button on Vayne, and they can run him down.
Yeah.
Which is nice to get a little bit of guaranteed CC, something they really lacked with their other team compositions. Also, just long-range Maokai Jhin engages can really give you a lot of time to run up to people, so there's some pretty good synergy they have throughout the team comp, and the Victor Gnar from a damage profile solo laners is actually decent. Let's see though.
I mean, yeah, Silas, fantastic ults to take. The Gnar ult, the Maokai ult. The Maokai one's a big one that I'm looking at here in terms of just being able to jump in and just CC everybody, plus the AP scaling, which you're going to be building full AP. Now the question is, can Palafox punish the melee matchup in the mid lane as the Victor? Because Victor, you know, sometimes if you know the matchups well enough, you can just completely make their life miserable. If you're starting that queue, you're getting those autos. I like taking Aryan instances like this when you're in the melee matchup, but we'll see what Palafox wants to do.
The Victor-Silas matchup is, in my opinion, Victor favored. He should be able to get early push. A lot of times he'll do 2 early points into E, but I would say the Wukong into Victor is very Wukong favored, because Wukong is one of the best junglers at closing the distance onto Victor, and then once Wukong is on top, it's very hard as the Victor to outplay that.
Yeah.
So a lot of it could be about the 2v2, and in which case, since the Maokai Victor 2v2 is weak, that's when the Silas would have chances to win. So it's going to be about Inspired and Saint syncing up. Otherwise, I do think Palafox could have a good game.
But how often does the narrative come down to that for LYON? Inspired and Saint linking up, being the engine that the team needs to get them over that finish line. We're 1-1 in this best of 3. Dignitas stepping up to the defending champions in LYON, who are looking to stop their loss streak. If they lose this, they're starting their spring split 0-2. Not what they want. And Dignitas hoping to pick up their first win for themselves. It all comes down to this last game.
Nice surprise treat, game 3 here. I think most of us would have expected a 2-0 for LYON early on. Not to mention we got to see Dokla Vayne once again. But LYON has to play well to make this work. Across the board, pretty short range. Sivir, Silas, Vayne, Wukong, and Rakan have to carry so much of the engaged load. And Dig, kind of outrange in all lanes, might have 3 lanes of prio. So, you know, LYON does have to play very well to execute this team comp.
And whenever I see something like a Vayne top, even something like a Silas, I feel like, okay, actually, Dokla's getting an
Okay, I shouldn't say 3 lanes of prio. Vayne should get push on Gnar.
Okay, fair,
that's definitely the counter pick. I, for some reason, blanked and I was like, oh, it's Photon, he has prio. No. He's not going to have this against Vayne.
Yeah.
Vayne should win this handily.
But the point I was going to make was that this is not like an easy executing team composition. This is one where you can get punished if you overstep. You're playing pretty squishy members, especially in that top lane. But currently Dokla looks like he's just very comfortable in this matchup, doing just fine.
Yeah, cutting the wave early on. Photon with Dorn's shield, second wind, trying to withstand as much as possible. Didn't find a way to take biscuits, didn't go grasp Gnar or anything. He's going fleet, so just really trying to sustain.
Yeah, just wants to stay alive as Palafox. Ooh, big chunks onto Saint. Did not take the Aerie, took the phase rush instead. So this will help you scale more, especially against that Wukong.
He needs it against the Wukong. Absolutely. Otherwise, every time Wukong presses R on him, he's probably dead.
See, usually in my experience when I play Victor, it's in a solo queue in Emerald. So
you just don't think about it.
A different, you know, priority there.
Yeah. Jungler sees losing mid lane. Jungler goes elsewhere.
I mean, I see losing mid lane, and I see Saint getting absolutely bullied by Palafox as Dokla pops the ghost, getting aggressive onto Photon, who hops into the wave, flashes, Dokla waiting for the autos, but he doesn't quite have it! First blood, the Photon! As Dokla botches the dive.
And Photon has teleport, Dokla doesn't. Photon's going to be able to go back, catch that whole wave, and probably have the advantage onto Dokla.
That was an oopsie, as he's picking up the dagger plus some armor. Dokla picking up the coal and boots, signaling, yep, it's going to come back down to farming up these waves. Let's get another look at that, because I guess he just didn't have the condemn. I think he used it earlier.
Yeah, I was locked into the mid lane, so I'm going to watch this one again. Crashing this huge wave, if he's able to kill Photon here, can deny a massive amount of experience. Really just doesn't get the E. That gets turret aggro, and then goes back in for more. But Photon just flashes to buy time. Cannon plus the extra minion he got gave him level 3 as Dokla re-engages for that kill. So I'd say somewhat calculated there by Photon. For Dokla, though, even though he doesn't have teleport, with the way the wave happened, it was going to crash back into them.
Sure.
He didn't actually lose that many minions from that failed dive, and he did get a kill, just not the first blood bonus.
Yep. So not disastrous, but not ideal. As Inspired, now Warrior Trickster's over the wall. Gravity Field comes down for Palafox, but he still flashes. The chains land. Saint gives the thumbs up. Okay. And a kill to Lion's mid laner.
And that happening pre-6 and getting the flash, very beneficial for Saint's lane. He'd already been bullied out early, had to reset, was on his way back with no teleport, so now gets another free base. That's the saddest Sylas base that he was on. He was on Glowing Moat refillable. That's a very sad time. But Inspired manages to come in, perfect timing on the gank, gets him out of a bind.
An incredible abduct there from Saint, landing it. That had to have been like a max range one.
They waited out the gravity well so well as well.
Yep. Exactly.
There's a lot of wells.
Yeah. Well, actually, fun fact, they name changed that one.
Yeah,
now it's
Gravity Field.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where I'm like, I missed the old one. Oh.
Did you say Gravity Well earlier this cast? Can I blame you for this?
I don't think it was me. No.
Okay, I think it was my fault.
All right.
Okay.
It's okay. They changed a lot of names. You've been calling it Proto Belt. It's Rocket Belt Jet. It's okay. I wasn't going to call you out on it, but now it's come up.
Ninja Tabi as well.
Yeah.
That's like an 8-year-old name change to the plated
True.
steel cap.
Yeah. That was a while ago. It's some of those ones, it's hard to keep track of.
I can't get the pronunciation on the old Luxalt from last game. I called it the Final Spark, but I wanted to say like Finalis Flukenin or whatever it's called.
Oh, what? Yeah,
it used to be that name.
Yeah, the Latin name I think is something they had for it. Was it real Latin or fake Latin? I don't even know.
It was better.
You know what? Maybe I'll send along the word. I'll send along Jat's opinions of some of these ability names.
Yeah.
The people that can make some changes here.
Yes, classic ability namer Jat. He's just, he's known for having great ideas.
You're really not beating the Boomer allegations right now, Josh. I'm not going to lie to you. As Isles is currently hovering in the mid lane, but he's spotted on that ward, so Dignitas are wise to the roam. Dokla finds another shove here. Photon this time around is actually answering back with his own hyper procs. Man, I love these on-hit passes.
Photon's good spot.
Yeah, he's close to Meganar, so he's going to jump in, gets flash out of Dokla, who now pops the ultimate. Photon will smash him back and actually wins out just slightly on the health bar trade. And also, that's a flash down for Dokla.
I mean, that's huge. Flash and R burned on the Vayne, plus Photon, big health advantage, able to shove this wave in for free. And then honestly, Dokla has to be a little bit careful around this turret because Inspired's on the bot side of the map, and XU can just make a run over. So good read by Dokla, knowing he has to just kind of give up this entire wave. XU gonna pop a sapling over the wall, realize he's not there, and go back to his jungle. But
yeah,
really well played sequence there by Photon.
All in all, though, Dokla, despite not having that teleport, Ghost is back off cooldown, so he loses the flash, but he's able to get back to the lane and is still up half a wave of CS. Meanwhile, Inspired is taking this dragon here on the bottom half of the map. XU's not going to be able to stop him there, so I'd say the thing's still looking pretty positive for LYON overall. They have a slight gold lead, they get the early dragon, and their counterpick top lane is still technically in a lead despite giving over that first blood to Photon. That was an oopsie, but I think that Dokla is the type of player that's able to bounce back from that mentally and still, you know, run through this counterpick matchup. As again here, yeah, he's just anytime Photon walks up, Dokla's punishing him.
Yeah, gotta get those quick trades in, maxing the tumble as well. So winning the short trades a little bit better rather than a W max for a long-term DPS. I'd also gotta say this game, like the fact that we're not talking about the Jhin Karma is bad for Jhin Karma.
Yeah?
I feel like they're gonna fall off. And from not doing much.
Okay,
so,
okay. Not getting punished, not losing lane just by doing nothing.
Yeah.
And even having said that, Isles has roamed multiple times.
He can even
now.
leave. There's no pressure on bot lane.
Like Isles went mid, now he's topside. Photon saw him. Ooh, didn't get the ward over the wall. I imagine he was looking for that into the dry brush. But either way, the fact that Berserker is having essentially a free laning phase here, he picks up the coal, he's just going to be stacking that up, And FBI Ignar have not been able to even get a plate in that bottom side. Tough into the Sivir. I feel like the Sivir as just a concept kind of neutralizes the push of the Jhin and the Karma.
Yeah, really able to clear the waves out pretty easily. Isles and Inspired engage duo onto Palafox Jhin is going to be pretty potent come mid to late game. So I think LYON is really comfortable with how this early game has been going. Once they got the kill onto Palafox, it means Saint's lane is in an okay spot. Sivir scaling, Inspired's just clearing the objectives in both these games, right? Like, this is the third grub camp he's been able to take.
We've had back-to-back Arcane Storms
see a Victor ultimate?
Yeah. Silence is tricky like that. It's another one, by the way. It was not only Gravity Well to field, but Arcane Storm now instead of Chaos Storm. Do you like Arcane Storm or Chaos Storm more?
I'm a classic Victor player.
Yeah.
So I liked it when you had the stupid item you had to upgrade.
Oh, yeah?
That?
That was before my time, but I've heard of it, yes. Actually, maybe that was. I started playing in 2015. Was that around?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Saint is basically Chovy. He's finished his Hextech Rocket Belt for his MasterCard Power Spike.
Hey, he called it the right thing.
First, it's because I just read the screen. So that saved me. If that said Proto Belt, I would have said Proto Belt.
Yeah, true. And you'd be within your right. Yeah. But he picks that up. This one is pretty standard for Silas, I would say.
I'm glad they brought that up because I was about to just tell you all about Victor's history.
Yeah.
But now I can't. Now, clearly the moment has passed.
There's at least a few people in Twitch chat or YouTube chat that are disappointed. I feel like you got a group that enjoys it when you go on
There used to be a time, this is pre-first Victor rework, where you could only upgrade one ability the whole game, and it was tied to specific stats. So, like,
that doesn't make any amount of sense.
If you built the W upgrade, you were reported, man. So, like, the W upgrade pulled them towards the center and made it a longer range cast, so you could cast from like 1,000 units away.
Like ASOL almost.
But then your E wasn't upgraded and your Q didn't give you move speed. So you just were useless.
What about support Victor? Can I sell you on that?
That was also still useless. Yeah. So
man, I'm learning so much.
Basically, top laners would sometimes do Q because it was this like health thing that you could like max Q and bully people with. But generally, if you didn't upgrade your laser, you were a troll.
Yeah, I mean, laser is just synonymous with Victor. It's one of the best dopamine abilities in the game. Throw it at a wave, one-shots the wave, profit. Similar to Sivir, we got a lot of wave clear on both of these sides, and we're kind of talking about whatever because right now there's not too much happening in the game. The matchups are going kind of how you'd expect it, although as I say that, Photon's actually doing just fine in this 1v1 topside. Dokla has not gotten a noticeable lead.
No.
And even with Isles hovering here, I mean, Photon, he doesn't have vision to spot this right now, so this could be an actual dive. Level 6 available on Isles, so the quickness available, but Photon's hitting the wave. Dokla pops the final hour, getting some damage in. Silver bolts plus the condemn. Photon's looking for the ultimate, and now in comes Isles for the kill credit. Dokla sets it up, Isles knocks it down. LYON find a kill in the top lane.
Inspired here to cover a dive on the bottom lane as well, plus Berserker's been able to prevent it from getting to the turret, so really well dove on the top side, and then well defended on the bot side by LYON. I feel like Photon was so paranoid of not letting that wave crash for the dive that he took too much damage. Maybe he actually has a chance of living it if he lets the wave crash and maintains his health bar.
And that's also why you take the Combat Summoner spell, as XU's going to go for a play here in onto Saint. Pulls up the Nature's Grasp, lands it onto 2, but Ignar joins up. And they're trying to give the kill over to the Jhin, but shut down instead to Palafox. Dignitas will find a kill mid lane.
I'll take that as Palafox for that shutdown. No Dragon up currently, but Cloud Drake on the way with Saint being down, but there's a lot of tempo on the side of LYON. Inspired is already in the jungle, and Dokla has actually ran to support this, so Dig gets the kill. Really interesting tempo here because Gnar is going to be getting played, so Dig would want to make this hard.
Positive tempo marker here as Inspired takes away the Grump.
You can't bring that back to NA,
it's gone.
I don't think. I think that stayed in Brazil.
Okay, all right.
Tempo tokens and tempo markers are in Brazil and Korea. That's the only place that they're allowed to be now.
XU's going to have to walk away as Inspired will use that tempo to his advantage, takes away the objective as well as a cheeky little Grump steal.
Yep, Drake stacking for LYON. Inspired with Trinity Force. He's playing a slow game on his own pace, knows he is ahead of the Maokai, knows his Silas, despite dying, is still in an okay spot. And he's got camps up, so he's got to get back to that.
Yeah. I mean, Inspired has had a much better performance in games 2 and 3 as opposed to that game 1. We were surprised to see on the Nocturne him falling so far behind XU, but since then, it's kind of back to normal form for Inspired. He's getting to that Trinity Force. This is when Wukong really starts to come online. Also having first items picked up by Berserker, by Saint a little bit before, so I feel like LYON are getting to that point now where if Dignitas actually want to contest them, they'll be happy to answer those fights. It's just that Dignitas have not found those windows yet.
Definitely not. Dokla getting stronger and stronger. Won't finish his call on this wave, but we'll be able to get it on the next.
And also, I mean, he just wasn't really punished much for taking the Combat Summoner spell. I feel like there's windows where maybe XU could have looked topside, but you take the Ghost Flash, that window where you can punish it's gone. He's got the upgrade, quest is complete, so TP is available for Dokla. So he really got out of that part of the laning phase really unscathed in the counter matchup. Yes, again, there's kind of that blunder going for the dive, giving first blood to Photon, but I think from this point forward, the Vayne gets very scary to control.
I think also, XU almost got it stolen. This is one of the reasons we don't see Maokai. Like, he just doesn't have the time to do stuff because the Wukong at this point had been clearing so much faster than XU. If he ever does go for those ganks, especially a top lane gank, he's just going to lose camps on his bot side and fall even further behind. So you really do need to pick your moments on the jungle. Maokai, he clears a little bit faster now with his Liandry's, but I still feel like the Wukong's faster than him.
But because the Liandry's, he does not have a big health bar or resistances, so LYON pull the trigger onto him. He's got the backup of FBI, but FBI cannot get enough onto Isles. XU falls, and LYON find another kill. Now Dokla pops the final hour, just going to go all in onto Photon right now. Flash is available, flash forward from Dokla, the condemned for the kill, and Dokla finds his solo.
Victor on the way, no teleport for Dokla unless he's upgraded. He finishes role quest.
He has the quest completed, he's able to TP away, so Dokla gets in, gets out. Big Dokes finding the plays.
You said he's good at bouncing back from mistakes.
Yeah.
You were correct. What a bounce back from Dokla.
Inspired might need to bounce back here. Nope. Okay, he's got the back of Isles, so he's able to just push in, use the Cyclone onto FBI. The Jhin walked up foolishly, has to flash back. As now Isles trying to buy time for Palafox. They're locking down Inspired. FBI was just the bait. Finds a big shutdown as the curtain call picks up the kill.
I was about to make a joke about how useful Karma Jhin was there, and then they actually were.
They got the slow.
They got shielded to stay alive. Yeah. They slowed and rooted them, and they got the kill.
That's what we talked about. That's all I took away from the conversation, was how much slowing and rooting they could do.
Yeah, and that's all they needed to kill Inspired. They're still in a bad spot.
Yeah, don't mind that LYON also got bot turret and now top turret on the tail end of that play. With a 3.4K gold lead and 2 dragons and the grubs. Just pay attention to the fact that FBI got a kill.
And he's on his way to RFC, so he's about to get so much more useful on this Jhin. Yeah. You won't believe it.
Oh, well, I feel like Berserker, again, on the Sivir, was just able to get out of that laning phase pretty much for free. Let's get another look. Okay, this is after the solo kill.
Yeah, at the TP. Starts channeling it. That'll be back in 7 minutes. But at least it saved his life.
Cool.
Sick.
Yeah. All right, LYON currently onto the Herald. XU's throwing out the Nature's Grasp. Roots up only onto Isles. As Inspired and Saint were both able to walk around it. Inspired claims the Herald, and Dignitas cannot lock down members of LYON for long enough. Saint has taken the Gnar ultimate, and now LYON turn it back on a Palafox. Dokla on a killing spree. XU can't even take down Isles. A double to Big Dokes as LYON continue the forward momentum. FBI barely limps away as Photon hits Mega under the turret. LYON find 2.
And they are really starting to run away with this game. They can pop the Herald now when no one on Dig can defend it. They just had the numbers advantage. Everybody was there. Photon was in bot lane when that fight started, and kind of everyone just pressed R, and they've blown open a 5,000 gold lead.
Let's get another look at that here, because like if this ult hits on multiple people, sure, but they don't have damage yet there yet.
Yeah, I am perplexed of what XU Ignar thought was going to happen as Karma Maokai against the team. But as they walk in, Palafox kind of gets one shot. This is probably the worst play Dignitas has made all series, and it might end up costing them this series, because I think the game was fairly playable before this, but they've just lost so much. Yeah, their coaches are also...
Yeah, you can tell Swiffer and Emmy just like, yeah, that was not it. Why? Oh. Also, Palafox just kind of being all on his own in the river. Everything kind of falling apart. Comedy of errors for Dignitas, and LYON will happily laugh along. Dragons up, and they can pick up their third right now, putting them at soul point. Dignitas are looking to contest, but you mentioned it, 5,000 gold lead for LYON. So it's going to be hard to beat through the wallets of this squad right now.
But don't want to give away soul point. They're losing sides. They're just hoping something good can happen here.
Photon already expired on the Mega Gnar. He's able to get some damage onto Inspired, but now it's a re-engage from Isles. Doko coming in as well. XU just takes one auto. A couple of damage from the Rakan, and yeah, I mean, this Maokai is just not tanky in any sense of the world. That Boomerang Blade also chunking him heavily. Dragon's not going to be started up immediately by LYON, but you have to imagine that they still could go for it if they want to, just given Dignitas' health bars.
Yeah, Isles got chunked pretty low, so he's going to try and run back onto the map real quick. Silas teleporting in for the flank. No way Dignitas can burst this whole dragon. Dokla's got a good position, but he's just a Vayne. It's Inspired that you got to watch.
Berserker's all alone right now, so if Dignitas find a way to get in onto the Sivir, okay, now Isles is behind him. Inspired walking in as well. Flash out from Palafox. Early Cyclone from Inspired, but will still land onto XU. Saint looks for the flank, but it's Isles that finds a big engage, but the team's not quite ready to follow it up. Saint will find it for himself as he picks up one. Dokla unstoppable. The curtain call will try and answer something back. One last hit onto Saint right there, but Berserker still confident to walk forward. Dokla gets chunked out. Dignitas members too low. They'll back up, and LYON will take 2 kills and the dragon.
Man, Silas Gnar ults are insane. Yep. That was such a big play by Saint there to blow this game even more wide open. Nice flash by Palafox at the start, but then you realize that Dig doesn't really have tools to fight back, and LYON does a great job just biding their time here until Saint sees flash. Gnar right into an easy double kill.
Isles distracted for so long. Photon landed the Gnar ult onto Saint, but there was no damage follow-up because everybody was getting engaged on by the Rakan while that landed. Isles tags out, Red Rover, in goes Saint, and then he's able to find that one. So LYON now with a 7K gold lead on Dragon's Soul Point. And this one's looking much more one-sided than last one. Jad, a lot of our time in Game 2 is spent on, okay, maybe Dig can find a way back. Like, how are they going to do it? I'm not seeing that angle anymore.
Yeah, I mean, based on the results here, Saint has Proto Belt. Dig doesn't have any Proto Belts.
True.
So
can we look at global Proto Belt?
There are 2 players that
Belt.
could build the
he
belt.
Did it to me. Can we look at global Rocket Belt win rates? Can we get Leo, our stats guy, on that real quick? Just
I mean, it's interesting. In LCK, both mid laners build it every game, so it's got to be 50-50.
Gotta be at
least. It's not going to show us much.
At least close. But yeah, I'm curious. Like across the world, what the Rocket Belt win rate is for any team that is brave enough to build that.
You need to check Xpetu's WPA on Proto Belt.
I'm just saying, Palafox doesn't have Flash. If he had Proto Belt, it's kind of like another Flash.
It's like a really bad Flash.
Just think about it.
Yeah.
LYON
mobility.
Are going to start up the Baron.
What's weird, I don't know why I'm memeing this. I was the Proto Belt defender when everyone else was memeing it. Because I'm like, you know, it's cheap. Maybe it's good. Maybe you can get some mobility. Saint is just smurfing, though.
Photon's just dead. Oh, no, he flashed. Okay, gets away. And there we go. FBI was useful, Jat. He's able to land the root, but in comes LYON. They peel off the Baron and find a kill onto XU. No jungler for Dig means that LYON should be able to clean this one up.
Yeah, LYON looks to be in full control here. They win both sides. They win team fights. And they have really strong objective damage. This will be the last-ditch effort, though, for Dignitas to try and get some type of team fight. They don't even have the jungler, so they just kind of got to run into fight.
They have curtain call. Now everybody turns on to Palafox! Dignitas' mid laner in complete Narnia there, as now the top laner and support maybe find more. Shut down as FBI threads the needle, finds another kill, and Dignitas actually get 2. All right. Palafox was the distraction to buy space. Dig find an actual play.
Yeah, Dig take those. 2 kills. It's just Palafox who goes down. FBI, incredible patience with this Jhin ultimate. But the Baron debuff is alive here, so it's actually a 2 for 2 since the Maokai died earlier.
Sure.
But yeah, Palafox does go in, gets a good chunk onto Inspired, and Baron chunks out Berserker. And then really nice shot as FBI needed to send that one out of the chamber too, since Dokla was flanking and was about to assassinate him on the backside.
And you know what? I'll apologize to Palafox right there. That Arcane Storm, he's able to lock it onto Berserker, and that's what did so much of that damage. Baron hit him with one attack as well, but like that Arcane Storm is what did the majority, which allowed FBI to find that snipe, allowed FBI to get that shutdown. And now that 7K gold lead is only a 6K gold lead, Jet. Ooh, a bit of a comeback.
A comeback, maybe? Jin about to get an Infinity Edge?
Yeah. Jin about to tickle a little harder.
I mean, no, but if it happens, it's good that we said it.
True.
Because it would be good foreshadowing.
And again, I do want to, I'm making a joke out of it, but there's no dedicated tank that's building full-on armor. So in a traditional comp, I don't like Jins in late game, but like against a Vayne, like a 4-shot on Dokla is going to be crazy. Even on Saint, who doesn't have armor, just some magic resistant health. Like, we're making these jokes, but I think there is a legitimate, argument to be made that FBI can do a lot of damage against this type of composition.
Yeah, the biggest thing would be to get the Dokla shut down. If they can somehow do that, that is not even in the context of a team fight, because I think if they spend a bunch of time killing the Vayne, like Wukong, Silas, Sivir is going to run through them. So Dokla has to make a really big mistake, and if Dig can capitalize on that, that makes it 5,000, then maybe you're getting close to your 2 or 3 item power spikes. But looking at the items, now is actually a good time to fight on Soul Point, because even though the gold is 6K, look at the items. Everyone's on 2 items, so there's not a huge advantage for LYON right now.
And currently, Dignitas have control over the Banana Brush, plus the Line Brush. LYON are going to have to walk in. Isles has a flank here as the Rakan, but not a lot of ranged follow-up from LYON's side. Saint is able to get the Maokai ultimate. That is huge for him in these fights. It's that or the Gnar that you're looking for, as LYON actually do wrestle control into the river.
Yeah, LYON's going to just start this up right now, and then whenever Inspired wants to turn, they'll probably send Saint, Maokai, and Inspired into the fray. I like how Dig haven't hit that Blast Cone, though, because it's a nice disengage for when LYON tries to go in. But LYON wants to just get this as low as possible to force XU in.
And it's a double Nature's Grasp coming out from both sides. Isles flashes in for the engage. Photon's looking for his own flank, but already XU is down. Inspired onto the back line. Cyclone onto FBI, but the shields are too much. They actually cannot kill the AD carry. Curtain Call slowing down Saint. Damage in. Dragon's Soul secured by LYON, and they're able to get away for now. Photon jumps back in, but he's condemned into the wall. Dokla almost kills Ignar. Photon goes down into Mini, and Dignitas have peeled back. LYON only find a 1-for-1 trade, but getting the Dragon Soul is well worth it, as Photon looks to make even more happen. Palafox, pretty full health bars, just chasing him down. LYON are going to be able to get out for now. The laser not enough to kill Saint.
Man, Dig really wanted some more kills on the back end of that fight because they've lost the soul.
Yeah.
So the raw value of that is just going to keep multiplying on the high damage team of LYON. But you can see with everyone being on about 2.5 items, this fight ended up being kind of close. And the Karma shielding can be really important to get people out of these fights. So they really do chunk Isles down right at the start. And then a really crucial dodge by FBI on that Saint second portion of his E before they can open up with the Curtain Call to push LYON out of the fight. But the fact that Dokla never chased through, stayed on the Drake, LYON knew what the prize was, and it was Soul, which they got.
And it looks like we're back to live as XU just dies in his own jungle. Nature's Grasp goes down, but it's not enough lockdown for Palafox to find a kill initially. Saint goes back in with the Abduct, chains land, steals away the Arcane Storm, throws it back at Palafox. And Dignitas will just lose their jungler. This is the downside of the AP Maokai build. You saw it in that fight, you saw it there. XU just cannot live long enough for his team to back up, as now Berserker's getting some damage. Another engage from Inspired. Cyclone onto 2. Photon ultimate into the wall. FBI on a rampage as he'll take down Saint. Dignitas' AD carry somehow finds himself on the other side of the river. Inspired chasing him down. Ignar lands the root, but Inspired will bop him to death, as LYON will find 2 more and the ace of Baron.
This will definitely be the Baron with Dokla here to do that percent max health. Berserker can take a bunch of turret gold on the back end as well. But, Jin has been useful. I'll give him that.
Okay.
FBI's having a good game.
I like this character growth from you, Jed.
Yeah.
This is big. Yeah.
You can understand the angle of the Jin.
I don't understand how he got at that angle, at that end there, but still, he's able to do damage, he's able to find kills, he got the kill on the Saint, but the problem is, it was a 4v5 to begin with, and it just feels like they can't find ways to approach LYON safely.
For sure, that's the thing, is XU felt like they probably needed a little bit more damage, has gone with a more AP build. Even if he goes tanky for what it's worth, against Sivir Vayne, he's still probably not going to be that tanky anyway. If he didn't go Liandry's, he's never going to clear the jungle fast enough to even hope to keep up, but he's probably dead again.
Yeah.
No, he's fine.
Okay, he's able to limp away from that one. Has the phase rush available and gets him to safety, but we just saw there that Isles was able to outdamage him. Just the Rakan alone going for the full combo. And then the team forcing out the retreat. Dignitas in full defensive mode here, trying to turtle up. LYON with the Baron, as well as the Dragon Soul, will start a siege, but it's still pretty early game. It's only 27 minutes right now. Deadly Flourish will not land on Isles. Good little sidestep there. So I don't imagine LYON will be ending this game immediately unless they find another pick, unless they find another member of Dignitas out of position.
Yeah, we're already 2.5 minutes until the next Elder as well, so they'll likely be able to take that in a very similar way that they've won these last few fights. Inspired GA up as well. He can really just freely fly in.
Oh, yeah.
Saint with his Seeker's Arm Guard. They're really just positioned to be able to play around this Baron. They're going to use the next Elder. They're going to use the rest of this Baron buff to just accumulate gold, but unless Dig tries to all in, I don't see any reason for LYON to rush.
Yeah, 10k gold lead now because of that mid-turret cracking, as Photon will look for a play here on the Isles, is able to battle dance away. Berserker giving him the extraction point, and LYON support still up. Dokla, meanwhile, still peppering this mid inhibitor now as Exu and Photon start to walk up, but he backs off and is even still trading some damage. LYON are just taking everything. Dignitas have not found a way to slow down this Baron push.
Nice Baron power play. They're really daring Dig to all in on someone. I really thought Exu was going to flash W onto Dokla in the mid lane, but Dig didn't have the confidence to go for that, knowing that if they all in it doesn't work, the game is completely over.
And also Dokla has the QSS completed now, so it's even hard to lock him down.
And a Mikhail's on Isles.
Yeah. That's along with the shield from the Locket. So Dignitas are going to have to find a miracle here. They'll throw out the Nature's Grasp. Saint goes into the stasis, but now straight out of it is into a Twisted Advance. Actually not have enough damage. Flash away from FBI and a follow-up from Inspired. Locking down everybody on the back line. Inspired goes legendary. Dokla with a triple kill to close out this game. They didn't need that Elder Dragon. LYON will make the comeback happen and win this series 2-1.